I died falling off a cliff during a hiking trip. 1 second, I'm a normal teacher on Earth. Next second, I wake up in some fantasy world called the Nine Provinces continent where different races are constantly fighting each other for territory. And here's the real kicker. I didn't even get a cool body. No, I got stuck inside the body of the 5th prince of the Jade Dragon Kingdom. Sounds fancy, right? Wrong. This guy was the worst person alive. A complete scumbag who bullied everyone, did terrible things, and was so useless that his own father, the emperor, kicked him out of the capital and dumped him in some poor village in the middle of nowhere as punishment. Did this idiot learn his lesson? Of course not. He kept bullying the villagers even after being stripped of his royal status. So when monsters attacked the village 5 days ago and he got badly injured, guess how many people rushed to help him? 0. They just watched him die. Can't even blame them honestly. Then 3 days ago, lucky me, I popped into his corpse. The villagers saw a dead man suddenly sit up, and they were not happy about it. Nobody would talk to me. Nobody would feed me. And I've been starving for 3 days. So there I was. Wait, no. I was standing outside my crappy straw hut, stomach completely flat, flipping off the sky because what did I do to deserve this? And then, the sky answered back. Ding. Awakening Heaven's Army system. Finding host, Ming. I got a starter pack. 3 soldiers and 50 bags of grain. Just like that. A whole game menu appeared in my head with stats and everything. Level, population, troops, resources. I'm level 1 with 0 cities, 0 money, 0 generals, and 3 guys with knives. Living the dream. I pulled out the 3 summoning cards and boom. 3 flashes of white light. And suddenly 3 dudes with swords were kneeling in front of me yelling, "Greetings, my lord." I almost fell over. Their stats were not great. Level 1, mediocre attack, garbage equipment rating. But hey, they're my garbage soldiers. I checked their loyalty, 80 out of 100. Not bad for guys who literally just spawned into existence. Before I could even enjoy having subordinates, the system threw a quest at me. Next time monsters attack the village, kill at least 2 of them. Reward? More grain, water, 20 more soldiers, and some cash. Okay, I can work with that. First things first though, I was dying of hunger. I pulled out some wheat rice from my inventory. It tasted like absolutely nothing special, but after 3 days of starvation, it was basically a 5-star meal. I shoved it in my mouth so fast I almost choked. Then I looked at my 3 soldiers standing there and thought, wait, do these guys eat? Better feed them too. I handed out 3 more portions, and their loyalty jumped from 80 to 83. Nice. Turns out being a decent boss actually works. Who knew? In a world where every race is fighting for survival and humans are at the bottom of the food chain, I need every bit of loyalty I can get. I'm broke, I'm weak, and I have 3 level 1 sword guys. This is not the time to play tough, boss. Be nice, feed people, don't get everyone killed. That's the whole strategy right now. All right, boys, follow me. Let's go find some water. No idea when those monsters are coming back. But for now, step 1 is simple. Stop being thirsty and hungry. We'll figure out the not dying part later. So in this wasteland, even water is a luxury. The whole village, over 100 families, depends on one single mountain spring outside the village. And because there are always monsters and wild beasts roaming around, the villagers set up a little guard squad to protect it. I was heading to the spring with my 3 sword guys when I walked straight into trouble. A few villagers were in a standoff with 4 wolf demons. Wolf head, human body, absolutely disgusting to look at. These guys belong to a wolf demon tribe on the western border, and they treat our village like a buffet. They show up whenever they feel like snacking, steal food, kidnap people, and nobody can do anything about it. I checked their stats. Level 1, attack 3, speed 4, but defense? Practically paper. Nothing impressive, just basic foot soldiers with attitude problems. The lead wolf was demanding the villagers hand over 1 person as food. Yeah, as food. And apparently last week they already took grain and 3 children. These monsters were running what I can only describe as a sustainable harvesting operation. Don't kill everyone. Just take a little bit each time so the supply never runs out. We were literally livestock to them. The villagers were furious but terrified. If they refused, the wolves threatened to call their whole tribe and flatten the village. Time for some big brain strategy. I stepped forward with my best, noble sacrifice, face and said, fine. If you want to eat someone, eat me. Just leave the villagers and the water alone. The lead wolf loved this. Laughed right in my face and strutted over like I was room service. Smart kid, he said, reaching out with his claws to grab me. The second he got close enough, attack. My three-sword soldiers rushed out and chopped that wolf into pieces so fast he didn't even get to finish his smug grin. Blood everywhere. Very messy, very satisfying. Ding. Killed wolf soldier, level 1. 2 honor points, 10 silver coins. Everyone just froze. The remaining wolves couldn't believe these weak humans actually fought back. The villagers couldn't believe that the village's most useless person just ordered an ambush. Honestly, fair reaction on both counts. One of the wolves started screaming threats about their tribe, but I shut that down real quick. If your tribe actually sent you, you'd be demanding way more than one person. You guys came here on your own to grab a snack. Nobody even knows you're here. Nobody's going to miss you. The wolf's face said it all. I was right. Get them. My soldiers charged again, and this time even the villagers jumped in. Momentum is everything. My guys just got their first kill, morale was through the roof, and the wolves? They came here for an easy meal, not a fight to the death. They panicked, tried to run, and got absolutely demolished. Ding. Killed 3 more wolf soldiers. 6 honor, 30 silver. After the dust settled, the villagers were looking at me like I was some kind of hero. Loyalty went from 0 to 60 in one fight. The old body's owner had them at 0. That's how much they hated him. But one decisive move, and suddenly I'm the man. I played it cool though. Told them to hide the bodies in the forest and bury them. These wolves were freelancing. Their tribe doesn't know they came here. Last thing we need is some wolf chief finding his boys' corpses and deciding to bring the whole army. We're not ready for that yet. While I was drinking spring water, the system chimed in again. Ding. Quest complete. Rewards. 30 grain, 20 spring water, 10 sword soldier cards, 10 shield soldier cards, 10 honor, 20 silver. I only needed to kill 2 wolves, and I killed 4. Overachieved on day 1. New troop type unlocked. Resources stacking up. Not bad for a starving ex-prince who was literally flipping off the sky an hour ago. After killing those wolves and drinking some spring water, I took a good look at the situation and realized something. This water source is barely enough for the village. Once I start building up my army, we're going to have a serious problem. Speaking of army, I checked my inventory. 10 sword soldier cards and 10 shield soldier cards sitting there waiting to be used. More troops sounds great in theory, but troops need to eat and drink, and I'm basically running on fumes here. More soldiers equals more mouths equals more problems. Then the system dropped something beautiful on me. Ding. Achievement unlocked. First blood. Reward. Basic city building token X1. A building token. This thing lets me reshape terrain and create actual infrastructure. And not just one building. It came with a package deal. 1 farm, 1 training ground, 1 barracks, and 1 lumber yard. All level 1, but still. For a village where the most advanced technology is hoping the crops don't die, this was revolutionary. And of course, the system immediately slapped me with Quest 2. Place all the buildings in suitable locations. Reward? 20 service soldiers, 1,500 grain, 800 water, plus honor and silver. Getting paid to build my own village? Yes, please. First priority, food. The east side of the village had some farmland, but the soil was garbage and harvests were pathetic. Border climate, bad environment, terrible dirt. So I went to the west side instead, which was basically a wasteland of ugly rocks where nothing lived. Not even birds bothered coming here. Why build a farm on rocks? Because the building token doesn't care about rocks. It forces the soil to become fertile. Watch this. Place level 1 farm here. Confirm. The ground exploded. Rocks cracking, earth splitting, rumbling like an earthquake for 5 solid minutes. Then the system's power kicked in and started rebuilding the soil from scratch. 30 minutes later, I was staring at a beautiful patch of rich, fertile farmland where there used to be nothing but dead rocks. Ding. Level 1 farm placed. Annual yield. Food for 2,000 people. 2,000 people worth of food. The whole village is only 100-something households. We went from, might starve tomorrow, to, actually have a food surplus in half an hour. And since everything west of here is just more wasteland stretching into nowhere, nobody's going to come from that direction to mess with our crops. Natural defense. Sun was getting low, so I hustled north to set up the military stuff. My mental plan was simple: west side for farming and food storage, north side for troops and military operations. I placed the barracks, and the ground flattened itself into a proper military base. Sleeping quarters, kitchen, command tent, guard posts, storage rooms, the whole setup. Capacity: 500 soldiers. I looked at my 3 sword guys standing in this base built for 500 and just laughed. It was like moving into a mansion with 3 roommates. Time to fix that. I burned through all my summoning cards at once. 40 flashes of white light. 10 more sword soldiers. 10 shield soldiers. Big beefy dudes carrying massive shields, obviously built for defense. And 20 service soldiers, which are basically the army's janitors. They run errands, cook, clean, carry stuff, and deliver messages. Not glamorous, but at level 10, they can specialize into medics, cooks, or farm managers. Everyone starts somewhere. 43 soldiers total now. The barracks actually looked like it had people in it. I dumped all my remaining supplies, 146 portions of wheat rice and 100 bottles of spring water, and had the service troops haul everything to storage. Rationing plan: 2 meals of wheat rice per day, 1 bottle of water per soldier. If they're still thirsty, go to the spring outside and drink there. It's tight, but until I find a new water source, we're tightening belts. The service soldiers got to work carrying supplies, and I noticed they were actually gaining experience just from doing chores. Makes sense, their whole job is chores. They level up by running around being useful. Eventually they'll hit level 10 and I can promote them into something more specialized. But that's a problem for future me. Right now, I've got a farm, a barracks, 43 soldiers, and a village that doesn't completely hate me anymore. Day 1 is looking pretty good. Next, I placed the training ground right next to the barracks. Same process: ground rumbles, reshapes, and boom, a shiny white-tiled arena appeared. Like a martial arts practice field. The special thing about it? Training here gives bonus experience points. The system even told me I could buy an instructor from the shop to make training even more effective. So I opened the shop for the first time and immediately wanted to close it. Grain? 1 honor point or 5 silver each. Sword soldier? 30 honor plus 150 silver. Shield soldier? Same price. Service soldier? 20 honor plus 100 silver. And the instructor I actually need? 100 honor points and 500 silver. I had 18 honor and 60 silver. Yeah, I'm window shopping at this point. Can't afford anything useful. Moving on. Last building, lumber yard. The south side of the village had tons of tangled trees and messy terrain. Perfect spot. Cut down trees, process them into lumber, sell the lumber for income. Simple business plan. I placed it, the ground did its magic thing, and a basic lumber yard materialized. Ding. Quest 2 complete. The rewards hit like Christmas morning. 20 more service soldier cards, 1,500 grain, 800 water, 150 honor, 100 silver. Now we're talking. I immediately summoned the 20 service soldiers and assigned them to the lumber yard. But since it was already getting dark, I told them to sleep at the barracks tonight and start work tomorrow morning. Then I made them haul all 1,500 grain portions and 800 water bottles back to the barracks storage room first. Hey, carrying stuff is their job. That's literally how they gain experience. I'm not being a slave driver. I'm providing career development opportunities. With 40 service soldiers total, the hauling only took a few trips. Village is small, south to north is nothing. Good workout for the boys. I let out a big exhale. Infrastructure? Done. Farm to the west. Barracks and training ground to the north. Lumber yard to the south. For a village that had literally nothing this morning, we made incredible progress. Then the system hit me with Quest 3 and my good mood took a slight detour. There's a silver mine 10 miles north. A demon tribe is guarding it. Go take it. Difficulty: 2 stars. Up from 1. The rewards were insane. 30 summoning cards for 4 different troop types, 10,000 grain, 8,000 water, 500 honor, 3,000 silver. That's life-changing money. But a whole demon tribe? With my 60-something soldiers? That's not a quest, that's a suicide note. I need to send some scouts first, figure out how many enemies we're dealing with, what kind of forces they have. No rushing into this one. By now it was dark. The village was barely lit. Some families were too poor to even light candles. Looking around at how pathetic everything still was, I suddenly thought about the bright city lights back on Earth. Maybe someday this dump could look like that too. Maybe. I headed to the village chief's house, guy named Wu Sambao. When I got there, it was packed. All the important villagers and capable young folks had gathered, buzzing about everything weird that happened today. Someone saw soldiers carrying supplies through the village. Someone else spotted the barracks up north. Another person found the lumber yard down south. And of course, the guys who were guarding the spring told everyone about how I ambushed those wolf demons. They were all trying to figure out what was going on, and every strange thing pointed back to one person, me. I walked in, saw the crowd, and smiled. Well, quite the party in here. I walked into the village chief's house like I owned the place, which, technically, I kind of do, and dropped the news on everyone. My old subordinates from the capital are relocating here, so don't freak out when you see soldiers running around the village. Also, I built a farm on the west side, a barracks up north, a training ground next to it, and a lumber yard down south. Stop farming on the east side. The soil there is trash. Go west tomorrow instead. Everyone just stared at me like I'd lost my mind. The west side? That rocky wasteland where even birds refuse to visit? Farm there? The village chief Wu Sambao gathered his courage and asked, "Your Highness, are you sure the west side can grow crops? Go see for yourself tomorrow morning. If I'm wrong, you can have my head as a toy." Pretty confident for a guy who's been here 3 days, I know. But the farm is literally already there. I dropped the mic and went home. Home, being a sad little straw hut, by the way. I really need to upgrade my living situation. But then again, even the village chief lives in the same kind of dump, so I can't complain too much. I checked my stats before bed. Population, 181. Army, 63 soldiers, 13 sword guys, 10 shield guys, 40 service troops. Money, 160 silver and 168 honor points. Cities, 0. Generals, 0. Level, still 1. It's a start. Next morning, I got woken up by Wu Sambao bursting through my door screaming about the farmland. "Your Highness, there's fertile land on the west side." I rubbed my eyes. "Yeah, I know. I made it. You're welcome, ding." Villager loyalty 70. They went from 0 loyalty under the old me to 7-0 just like that. Turns out actually helping people makes them like you. Groundbreaking discovery. I waved them off with some motivational boss talk. Spring is here, go plant your crops. And listen, stick with me, work hard, and I won't just get you out of poverty. I'll take your quality of life to a whole new level. Corporate-style promise-making? In a medieval fantasy village? You bet. And these guys have never been exposed to workplace manipulation before, so they ate it right up. Ding. Loyalty 5. Now it's 75. I was basically drawing them a pie in the sky, and they were already tasting it. Beautiful. Then a villager came running in, completely panicked. Wolf demons. Outside the east side of the village, my stomach dropped. Those wolves I killed yesterday, did their tribe find out? Was this revenge? I kept my cool. How many? 1 commander and about a dozen wolf soldiers. Okay. 1 leader, roughly 15 troops. Against my 63 soldiers? Those are very workable numbers. I told Wu Sambao and the villagers to go stall them while I gathered my troops. They actually left looking confident, chest out, chin up, grabbing tools and makeshift weapons. Having a barracks full of real soldiers behind you does wonders for morale. I sprinted north to the barracks. Note to self. Keep some messenger soldiers nearby at all times. Running back and forth like this is not efficient for a lord. All troops assemble. 20 service soldiers, 13 sword troops, 10 shield troops. Everyone scrambled out with their gear. Ding. Side quest activated. Repel the wolf demon tribe using force. Rewards. 500 grain, 150 water, 30 sword soldier cards, 100 honor, 300 silver. 30 more sword soldiers? 100 honor? 300 silver? I almost drooled. Service troops. Grab your tools. We're going out to fight. Yeah, service soldiers aren't combat units. But everyone's level 1 right now, so the gap isn't that big. Give them a shovel, and they can still bonk a wolf on the head. Everybody counts. 20 of my service troops were already at the lumber yard, so I couldn't call them back. But honestly, for a dozen wolves and 1 commander, what I had was more than enough. Throw in the villagers with their pitchforks, and this was looking less like a battle and more like a very one-sided welcome party. 20 service soldiers grabbed sharp tools from the barracks and lined up. I marched all 43 troops toward the east side of the village. Women and kids came out of their houses to watch us pass. Apparently, seeing an actual military formation in this village was like seeing a parade. When we arrived, Wu Sanbao had already rallied 30-something villagers armed with farm tools, standing toe-to-toe with the wolf demons. Yesterday, these people were too scared to breathe near a wolf soldier. Today, they had a barracks behind them, and suddenly everyone's a warrior. Funny how that works. The wolves didn't take the villagers seriously at first, but then MY-43 soldiers showed up behind me, and their smug faces got real serious real fast. I strolled up to their leader, a level 6 wolf commander. Now, level 6 isn't a joke. In this world's ranking system, levels 1 to 5 are rookies, 6 to 10 are regular soldiers, 11 to 15 are elites, and 16 to 20 are ace fighters. So this guy was an experienced veteran with way better stats than my level 1 guys. But he was one veteran, standing in front of 70-plus angry humans holding sharp things. Even the best basketball player can't win a 1 versus 5. This wolf was looking at 1 versus 70. His attitude changed immediately. Went from arrogant to polite in about 2 seconds flat. So, 3 of our soldiers went missing, and we thought maybe, and you're blaming US? I cut him off, sounding offended. Did I kill those 3 wolves? Absolutely. Is there any evidence? Absolutely not. Bodies are buried in the forest. What wolves? Never saw any wolves. Don't know what you're talking about. Look, their disappearance has nothing to do with us. If you're asking, the answer is no. The commander tried a different angle. Let us search the village. You wouldn't want to start a war with our whole tribe, would you? Your little army here can't handle us. Classic bully move. Can't win the argument? Threaten with the bigger gang. I smiled. Cut the act. What do you actually want? He dropped the pretense and laughed. 600 portions of grain and 3 young humans as food. Then we forget the whole thing. 600 grain and 3 people? As food. These wolves really just walked up to my door and asked me to donate my villagers as lunch. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I said, your soldiers disappear, and somehow that means we owe you grain and people? You're not here to investigate. You're here to rob us. The commander started stuttering threats about his tribe again, but I could see the panic in his eyes. He was bluffing. His tribe sent him to shake us down, not to actually fight. He was betting that mentioning the tribe would scare us into paying up. Wrong bet. All troops. The wolf demon tribe has invaded our territory. Kill them all. 43 soldiers charged forward screaming. Wu Sanbao and 30-plus villagers saw the charge, and their blood went hot. Every one of them grabbed their tools and joined the rush. 70 humans stampeding toward 15 wolves. Retreat. Run. The wolf commander turned tail and bolted. They'd come here expecting easy pickings from a weak little village. Nobody told them about the army. Nobody told them about the crazy human lord who doesn't negotiate. It was a complete rout. My side didn't take a single casualty. 14 wolf soldiers got cut down. Only the commander managed to escape. Ding. 14 wolf soldiers killed. 28 honor, 140 silver. Ding. Side quest complete. 500 grain, 150 water, 30 sword soldier cards, 100 honor, 300 silver. Now look, I'm not going to pretend I'm some tactical genius here. The wolves didn't take us seriously. They brought a skeleton crew to bully a village they thought was defenseless. If they'd come with their real army, this would have been a very different story. But that's a problem for tomorrow. Today, 0 losses, massive loot, and my honor points jumped to 296 with 600 silver in the bank. I'm getting rich off these wolves. Was I worried about retaliation? A little. But what's the alternative? Hand over food and people every time they show up. That would tank my villager loyalty back to 0. At least this way I get rewards and respect. Ding. Villager loyalty 10. Now at 85. Wu Sanbao and the villagers practically swarmed me afterward. Your Highness. Thank you. We've been bullied for years, and we finally fought back. I grinned. This is actually the second time. Remember yesterday at the spring? Their eyes went wide. All right. Yesterday happened too. Don't worry, I said. From now on, West Waste Village is only getting stronger. No matter who comes knocking, we fight. Yes, the crowd roared. And just like that, I had their hearts. Not because of fancy speeches or royal blood. Because I actually stood up for them. twice in 2 days. For villagers who spent their whole lives being treated as livestock by demons, that was enough. I sent my troops back to the training ground. We've got work to do. The wolf tribe will come back eventually, and next time they won't underestimate us. After dealing with the wolves, I headed to my military zone up north to check on the troops. The sword and shield soldiers were on the training ground doing, well, nothing useful. They were just randomly throwing punches and kicks with zero coordination. Without an instructor, they were basically getting experience points at the speed of a snail crawling through mud. Time to fix that. I checked my wallet. 296 honor points. 600 silver. Instructor price. 100 honor, 500 silver. I could actually afford something from the shop for once. Historic moment. Ding. Instructor purchased. Minus 100 honor, minus 500 silver. A flash of white light, and boom, a proper military instructor appeared on the training ground. My remaining balance? 196 honor and 100 silver. Basically clean me out. This guy better be worth it. But look, I've got a main quest telling me to attack a demon tribe guarding a silver mine. If I sit here hoarding money while my soldiers can't even swing a sword properly, I deserve whatever happens to me. Spend now, survive later. Greetings, my lord. The instructor walked up and saluted. According to his stats, one level 1 instructor can train up to 500 soldiers. I don't even have 100 combat troops yet, so we're well within capacity. While I was at it, I burned my 20 sword soldier summoning cards from the last quest reward. 20 more flashes of light, 20 more guys with swords. Combat roster now. 43 sword soldiers, 10 shield soldiers. Plus 40 service troops doing chores. I told the instructor to get to work and finally exhaled. Training? Handled. But then I did the math and my good mood vanished. Nearly 100 soldiers. Each one eats 2 meals and drinks 1 bottle of water per day. That's 200 grain portions and 100 water bottles daily. My current stockpile? Maybe 10 to 15 days worth. The farm just got planted. Spring crops won't be ready for a while. This is what being in charge feels like. You open your eyes every morning and the first thought is, how am I going to feed everyone today? Being a lord is just being a stressed-out restaurant manager with swords. I have 2 options. Option 1. Sit here, save resources, slowly starve. Option 2. Attack the demon tribe at the silver mine, steal their stuff, and take the mine for long-term income. Option 2 is terrifying, but it's the only path with a future. First though, intelligence. I'm not charging into an unknown enemy blind. I called 2 service soldiers over to the command tent. Oh right, the command tent. I walked into the barracks central headquarters for the first time, and why did I sleep in that garbage straw hut last night? This place had a strategy table, grass mat flooring, cushioned seats, and in the back, clean bedding with silk sheets. Silk. I've been sleeping on straw like an animal while this was sitting here empty. I mentally slapped myself. This is my bedroom now. Until I build a proper palace, the command tent is home. It's 100 times better than that shack. I sat in the commander's chair, cleared my throat, and called out. Someone come here. 2 service soldiers rushed in. I gave them their mission. Scout the silver mine 10 miles north, figure out how many demons are there, what kind of forces they have, and report back. Yes, sir. They saluted and left. I won't lie. Sitting in the big chair, giving orders, watching people scramble to obey, it felt incredible. Military authority is no joke. You say a thing, and it just happens. Then the system decided I wasn't busy enough. Ding. New side quest. 20 miles east, there's a village called Dahan Village being attacked by bandits. Go save them. Rewards. 1 general summoning chance. 20 sword cards. 20 shield cards. 2,500 grain. 2,000 water. 300 honor. And 2,000 silver. A general summoning. That's not more foot soldiers. That's an actual named warrior. A commander. A champion. The kind of unit that changes everything. My food supply is running out. My main quest needs a bigger army. And now there's a village full of people being robbed 20 miles away with a general summon waiting as the reward. Guess I'm going to war. Again. A general summoning as a reward? Say no more. The main quest to attack the silver mine was too risky right now, but this side quest was practically gift-wrapped. Save a village from bandits, get a general. Easy decision. I ran to the kitchen area and ordered all service soldiers to start cooking immediately. Half an hour later, every combat troop was eating lunch early. Training can happen any day, This quest had a timer on it. Priorities, people. Once everyone was fed, I grabbed all 43 sword soldiers and 10 shield soldiers and marched east. It was about 10 a.m. I also sent 18 service soldiers behind us carrying food supplies, because the village was 20 miles away and we might have to camp overnight. An army marches on its stomach. I learned that from Earth history class, and it's extremely true when your soldiers literally have loyalty meters. I walked at the front of the formation like a big shot. Probably not the safest position for the commander, but I was feeling confident. Maybe too confident. Whatever. The border region was basically lawless. The J-Dragon Kingdom's garrison troops stayed locked up in their border fortresses and never patrolled out here. So a human army marching through this wasteland was a pretty unusual sight. We reached Dahan village around noon, and it was bad. Black smoke everywhere. Houses burning. Blood on the ground. Body parts. Corpses. Screaming and crying from inside the village. The attack was still happening. These bandits weren't just robbing the place. They were having fun doing it. Out here in no man's land with zero fear of authorities, they had zero reason to hurry. I'm not going to pretend I'm some selfless hero. The quest rewards were absolutely a factor. But I'm also not a monster. I saw dead civilians and burning homes, and I felt genuinely angry. Kill every bandit on sight. Go. We charged into the village and immediately found a group of bandits sitting there counting stolen money. They looked up, saw 50-plus uniformed soldiers sprinting at them, and their faces went white. Soldiers? Here? Run. They couldn't process it. Official troops in a lawless border zone? Impossible. Yet here we were. We cut down 4 or 5 slow ones before the rest scattered. I was about to chase them when a scary-looking guy walked out from deeper in the village. Bandits started gathering around him from all directions, 20-something of them forming up behind their boss. "I'm Qin Hui," he said, frowning. "Which army are you with?" I laughed in his face. "You're out here burning and killing, and you want to ask me for credentials?" "We're J-Dragon Kingdom soldiers. Can't you tell?" He tried to negotiate. "Look, this is a lawless border area. Nobody cares about one village. How about I give you half of everything we stole? You look the other way, we finish up here, everybody wins. We're not planning to wipe the village out, just taking some resources, a few casualties, nothing major. You get free supplies for your army. Deal?" I checked his stats while he was talking. Level 4 Bandit Chief. Attack 4, Defense 3, Garbage Equipment. He's basically a slightly buffed-up regular soldier. A super soldier, at best, not a real threat. His offer was disgusting, though. "Share the loot, and let us keep murdering civilians." The old owner of this body probably would have said yes. That guy was trash enough to profit from other people's suffering without losing a second of sleep. But I'm not him. Surrender now or die? Those are your only options. Qin Hui's eyes went hard, but I could see the calculation behind them. He had about 20 bandits. I had 53 trained soldiers. The math was obvious. I gave the order before he could respond. My 10 shield soldiers formed a wall at the front, pushing forward with their shields locked together. 43 sword soldiers fell in behind them, stabbing through the gaps between shields. A perfect shield and blade formation, offensive and defensive at the same time. Additional sword troops flanked both sides to protect the edges. It was a real military formation. Organized, disciplined, coordinated. Qin Hui's bandits? A bunch of random thugs who knew how to swing a weapon and run away. No formations. No coordination. No troop-type advantages. Just chaos. Qin Hui took one look at my advancing wall of shields and blades and said what we were all thinking. We're screwed. Charge. My soldiers slammed into the bandits, and it was barely a fight. Qin Hui was swinging this big cleaver sword, trying to look tough while backing up. He hacked at my shield soldiers a few times, but shields are, shields. The sword troops hiding behind them kept stabbing through the gaps and almost skewered him. He gave up on being brave real quick and started running. When the boss runs, everyone runs. The bandits completely fell apart. I saw the momentum and went all in. Full attack, break formation, and go. My sword soldiers poured out from behind the shield wall and charged. The bandits will the fight shattered like cheap pottery. Qin Hui was stumbling toward the village exit, couldn't even give orders anymore because nobody was listening. His entire crew was in pure panic mode. The whole thing lasted maybe 5 minutes. Every single bandit got hunted down and killed. Qin Hui himself got cornered at the village gate and chopped to pieces by a mob of sword soldiers. But he took 2 of my guys with him on the way out. That cleaver sword wasn't just for show. He managed to kill 2 sword soldiers before going down. Seeing those numbers drop on my panel, that stung. My first real losses. War isn't free. Best I can do as commander is keep the cost as low as possible. Ding. Battle complete. 62 honor, 560 silver. Casualties, 3 sword soldiers lost. Remaining, 40 sword, 10 shield. Wait, 3? I only saw 2 die from Qin Hui. Must have lost 1 more in the chaos. Ouch. Ding. Side quest complete. Rewards. 1 general summon, 20 sword cards, 20 shield cards, 2,500 grain, 2,000 water, 300 honor, 2,000 silver. Beautiful. Beautiful. I ordered my troops to loot the bandit corpses. System rewards are nice, but real-world money is real-world money. They came back with 4,500 silver coins stripped off the bodies. Confiscated. All of it. I'm technically still the 5th prince of the Jade Dragon Kingdom. Collecting ill-gotten gains is basically my civic duty. Total wealth, 558 honor, 6,600 silver. I went from broke to loaded in 1 day. Now about that general summon. I tried to use it immediately because obviously I did. But the system stopped me. Please return to your territory and place the general's platform before summoning. Of course there's a ceremony involved. Can't just pop a legendary warrior out of thin air in some random village, I guess. Fine. I'll do it when I get home. The villagers of Dahan village started peeking out of their hiding spots. Time to put on my kind and trustworthy leader face. Everyone, the bandits are all dead. You're safe now. An old man named Hisheng came forward, the village chief. He thanked me with tears practically in his eyes. His village got absolutely wrecked. Dead people, burned houses, stolen everything. Then I hit him with the pitch. I'm here on orders from the royal court. We're developing West Waste Village into a proper border settlement. Farmland, lumber yard, military garrison, the whole package. I'm here to invite you all to relocate there. Their faces went through about 6 emotions in 2 seconds. Confusion, suspicion, interest, more confusion. Hisheng pushed back a little. Our village is actually bigger and richer than West Waste Village. Why would the court develop them instead of us? Good question. I made up an answer on the spot. Policy reasons. The point is, West Waste Village already has fertile farmland, a lumber industry, and soldiers stationed there. You just got raided by bandits with 0 protection. Over there, you'd have an army watching your back. Would you rather keep living in fear or move somewhere safe? Hisheng sighed. He knew I was right. His village had more people and more resources, but none of that mattered when any random group of thugs could walk in and take everything. Let us discuss it among ourselves, he said. We'd need time to pack up and you'd need to build housing for us. Take your time. The offer stands whenever you're ready. They went off to hold a village meeting. Drums and gongs, and the whole production. Inside, I was doing a victory dance. If Dahan village moves to my territory, that's a massive population boost. More people means more workers, more farmers, more potential soldiers. My little village is about to get a lot less little. 3 sword soldiers lost today, but in exchange, a general summon in my pocket, thousands in silver and resources, and potentially an entire village worth of new citizens. I'll take that trade every time. After wiping out the bandits, I decided to camp overnight in Dahan village. Marching back in the dark through lawless border territory? No thank you. I enjoy being alive. The service soldiers arrived with food by evening, so we cooked up some wheat rice and distributed rations. I had 20 sword cards and 20 shield cards burning a hole in my inventory, but I forced myself not to use them. What if the summoned soldiers spawn and hungry? I'd have 40 new mouths to feed with no extra food prepared. Better to wait until we're back at base. 1 or 2 days of delayed training won't kill us. Speaking of training, some of my sword soldiers actually hit level 2 from the bandit fight. Combat experience is way faster than training ground experience. I started mentally designing a tier system. New recruits in 1 section, regular soldiers in another, elites in a third, and ace fighters at the top. Deploy troops based on mission difficulty. It's a beautiful plan that I absolutely cannot implement yet because 90% of my army is still level 1. But someday. That night, I ate the same garbage wheat rice as everyone else and found a wall to lean against. No camping gear, no tent, nothing. The villagers felt bad for us, though, and invited soldiers into their homes. The chief let me sleep on an actual bed. Luxury. Morning came with roosters crowing, fresh air, and crying. Some families lost people in yesterday's raid. Bodies were being cleaned up. Blood still in the air. Border life is brutal. There's nothing I can say that fixes that. I reminded he shung about the relocation plan before leaving. I'll have housing built for you. Come whenever you're ready. He nodded. We'll be there. Just give us time to prepare. Deal sealed. But honestly, I was in a hurry to get back. Not just for the general summit. I left my home base nearly empty to come here. If the wolf tribe decided to attack West Waste Village while my army was 20 miles away, game over. Yesterday's mission was a calculated risk that could have blown up in my face. We marched back and arrived around 9:30 a.m. I scanned the village and everything was fine. No destruction. No wolf attack. I exhaled so hard I probably scared my soldiers. Time for the main event. I found a spot near the barracks and placed the general's platform. It looked like a small temple. White stone steps leading up to a raised platform with a desk on top. On the desk sat a glowing golden book. I climbed the steps, picked up the book. Thing was heavy, and it started buzzing and shaking in my hands. The golden glow faded and two characters appeared on the cover. W. Song. Ding. General summoned. Wu Song. A flash of white light, and there he was. A massive, muscular, powerful-looking warrior radiating raw strength. This wasn't some random foot soldier. This was a champion. I checked his stats, and my jaw nearly hit the floor. Health, 8. Attack, 9. Speed, 7. Physical defense, 8. Magic defense, 6. For reference, my regular sword soldiers have attack 3 and health 4. This guy's talent ratings are almost triple across the board. His attack talent is 9 out of 10. 9. Every time he levels up, his attack power is going to skyrocket compared to normal troops. He's basically a one-man wrecking crew waiting to happen. I am at your service, my lord. Wu Song saluted with genuine respect. Loyalty, 80 out of 100. Same starting point as regular soldiers. But this guy is worth 50 of them. No need for formalities, General Wu. I look forward to working together. I would walk through fire for you, my lord. I like this guy already. Ding. Achievement unlocked. First General. Bonus rewards. 20 of each troop type summoning card. 2,500 grain. 1,800 water. Free stuff for doing what I was going to do anyway. The achievement system is basically paying me to play the game. I love it. One small regret, though. The achievement gives 20 cards for each troop type I currently own. I only have 3 types: sword, shield, and service. If I'd unlocked a new troop type before triggering this achievement, I would have gotten cards for that type too. Missed optimization opportunity. But hey, you can't predict when achievements pop. No point crying over it. 60 new soldiers plus a legendary general. My little village army is starting to look like an actual force. Now I just need to figure out that silver mine situation before we run out of food again. I used every single summoning card in my inventory, and my army exploded in size. Final count. 90 sword soldiers, 50 shield soldiers, 60 service troops. 200 soldiers total. I've got an actual army now. But 200 mouths eat over 400 portions of grain per day. I dumped all 5,000 grain and 3,800 water into the storage room, and the system told me that buys us 13 days. 13. We're basically living paycheck to paycheck, except the paycheck is wheat rice, and the bills never stop coming. The farm is still growing. No harvest yet. So for now it's just survive long enough for the crops to come in, and hope I can squeeze some quests out of the system before we starve. After lunch, I was sitting in the command tent thinking about strategy when my 2 scouts came back from the silver mine mission. My lord, we've returned with intelligence. Get in here. Talk. Interesting detail. Both of them had leveled up to level 2 just from the scouting trip. Running errands is their job, so scouting counts as work experience for them. The system really commits to the bit. The news they brought was not great. The tribe guarding the silver mine is a centaur tribe. At least 100 strong, possibly more. We couldn't get exact numbers. Centaurs. Half human on top, horse body on the bottom. Big muscles, axes, war spears, terrible tempers, and they specialize in close combat. Physical attack and defense through the roof. Their weakness? Magic damage. They're apparently terrified of it. Guess what type of troops I have 0 of? That's right. Magic troops. Not a single mage, wizard, or guy who can throw a fireball. My entire army is swords, shields, and janitors. Going toe-to-toe with 100+ centaurs in melee. Their specialty would be insanity. The silver mine quest is staying on the back burner for now. I thanked the 2 scouts and asked their names. Chen Zhao and Qin Lang. I promoted them both to personal bodyguards on the spot. From now on, they stand outside my tent and act as my messengers. When they show up somewhere, it means I sent them. Saves me from running all over the village every time I need something done. A lord needs proper delegation. Shortly after, Wu Sanbao came for a visit. The village chief was all smiles now. Funny how people suddenly want to be your friend when you have 200 soldiers. I told him about Dahan village relocating here. His face did that thing where surprise and worry fight for control. I know it's sudden, I said, but if I want to turn West Waste Village into a real city, we need people. You can't build an empire with 100 families. Think bigger, he nodded, but I could see the doubt in his eyes. A city? Here? In this wasteland? And probably also worrying about what happens to his position as village chief when 400 new residents show up. Smart man, he's right to worry. Once this place grows, a village chief position won't even be on the org chart. I told him to start building straw houses in the southwest area for the new arrivals. He agreed because what else is he going to do? Say no to the guy with the army? After he left, the system dropped a preview notification. When population reaches 500, you'll unlock a level 1 academy. Academies produce educated talent for your territory. Note, building provided, but you must hire your own teachers, hire teachers, to come work in a dangerous border wasteland surrounded by demon tribes. For what salary? Who would take that job? Hey, want to teach kids in a village that gets attacked by wolves every other Tuesday? The commute is 20 miles of lawless territory, and your life insurance doesn't cover centaur attacks. Yeah, that's going to be a hard recruitment. But it's a problem for later. I need 500 people first. Next morning, I headed to the training ground. Over 100 combat soldiers were drilling under the instructor, grunting and sweating. Experience bars slowly climbing with every punch. Wu Song was off to the side doing his own thing. The guy's a general. He's got his own training regimen. Watching him move was like watching a freight train do martial arts. The raw power this man has is unreal. 13 days of food. A centaur army blocking my silver mine. A whole village about to relocate. And 0 magic users. But I've got Wu Song, 200 troops, and a system that keeps giving me quests. We'll figure it out. I was watching my troops train, feeling like a proper warlord for once, when a villager came sprinting and screaming about wolf demons again. These guys just do not quit. I waved at the training ground. Grab your weapons, boys. Time to defend the homeland. 140 soldiers roared back at me, and we marched east. Wu Song at the front with his massive cleaver, 90 sword troops, 50 shield troops. Whatever the wolves brought, we had enough to handle it. Ding. Side quest. Defeat the wolf tribe's invasion. Rewards. 1 strategist summoning chance, 20 sword cards, 30 archer cards, 6,000 grain, for 1,200 water. A strategist summon? And a new troop type, archers? Now that got my attention, but the quest description said, invasion, not skirmish. This wasn't another small group coming to shake us down. This was an actual military operation. When we reached the east side, I saw why. Over 100 wolf soldiers, and on the ground. For dead villagers. They'd been killed just for being in the way. Ding. Population -4. Wu Sanbao was shaking when he told me what happened. They were out collecting building materials when the wolves showed up and cut people down without even talking first. Go back to the village, old Wu. I'll handle this. Ding. Villager loyalty 6. I marched up to the wolf army with Wu Song beside me and immediately recognized their leader, the same level 6 commander who ran away last time. Old friend, you killed 4 of our people on our land. You think you're leaving without paying for that? The commander was staring at my troops, confused. You had way fewer soldiers last time. Time for the performance of my life. I laughed like he'd said something hilarious. You fool. The human kingdom is developing West Waste Village. You think this is all we have? We're a military garrison backed by the royal court. You want to guess how many reinforcements are a messenger bird away? Pure fiction. Total lie. The royal court doesn't even remember I exist. They banished me here. But this wolf doesn't know that. and I need him to believe that attacking us means war with the entire Jade Dragon Kingdom. He hesitated. The human leadership is building up a border village? That doesn't make sense. Whether you believe it isn't my problem. What I guess your problem is those 4 dead villagers. You think we'll let that slide? Our kingdom may not have controlled this border region tightly before, but wiping out one wolf tribe? We can do that in our sleep. I said it with absolute confidence. Zero hesitation. Because here's the thing about bluffing. If you show even a crack of doubt, you're dead. I needed this wolf to go home and tell his chief that attacking us would bring the human army down on their heads. While I was talking tough, I was also doing math. My side, Wusong plus 140 soldiers. Their side, one commander plus about 100 wolf troops. Both armies are mostly level 1 rookies. Numbers advantage? Mine. Not overwhelming, but enough. So I made a decision. If I'm going to pretend we're backed by the royal court, I need to act like it. A garrison protecting royal interests doesn't cower. It attacks. All troops. Kill them. Wusong charged forward, swinging his blade like a man possessed, soldiers screaming behind him. Shield wall up front, swords stabbing through the gaps. Same formation as before, but bigger. 140 troops pushing forward like a steel avalanche. The wolf commander's face went pale. He'd come here to scout us out, figure out if we were bluffing about having military backing. My answer? A full-scale charge straight at his face. He panicked and ordered retreat immediately. Think about it from his perspective. Last visit, small army. This visit, bigger army. And instead of negotiating, these crazy humans are attacking on sight? Either they're backed by the kingdom or they're suicidal. Either way, he needed to go discuss this with his boss before making any moves. The second I saw them running, I went full predator mode. Chased them down. My soldiers broke formation and sprinted after the fleeing wolves. If I let them retreat cleanly, they might regroup and come back with their whole tribe. But if I bloody their nose hard enough, that commander goes home with a much scarier story to tell. The bluff was working, but I knew I was on borrowed time. Eventually they'd figure out their no royal backing. I needed to get strong enough before that happened to make the lie irrelevant. Ding. Defensive battle 1. 70 honor, 350 silver. Wusong and the boys chased down those fleeing wolves like dogs after rabbits. 35 wolf soldiers left dead on the ground before we called it off. And the beautiful part? Not a single casualty on our side. Zero. Nothing. All thanks to my greatest weapon, my mouth. That whole, "we're backed by the royal court" speech? Complete garbage. Total fabrication. If West Waste Village got wiped off the map tomorrow, nobody in the capital would even notice. They'd find out 6 months later from a tax report that comes back undelivered. But the wolf commander bought it, and that's all that matters. In diplomacy, it doesn't matter if it's real. If the other side believes it and acts accordingly, then it's real enough. Ding. Side quest complete. Rewards. 1 strategist summon, 20 sword cards, 30 archer cards, 6,000 grain, for 1,200 water. Won a battle without fighting it and got paid. Best day of my career as a fake lord. I sent Wusong to clean up the battlefield and rushed back to the military zone. Time to summon my strategist. But same as the general, I needed to build a platform first. The system gave me a wisdom-seeking platform, and I placed it right next to the general's platform up north. Generals on the left, strategists on the right. One-stop shopping for legendary personnel. I climbed the white stone steps. Same setup, desk on top, glowing golden book. Except this book was somehow heavier than the general's one. A book for summoning a scholar weighs more than a book for summoning a warrior? What kind of message is that? I picked it up and a name appeared. Fong Xianling. White flash of light. A refined, elegant-looking man materialized and bowed politely. My jaw dropped. Fong Xianling. The Fong Xianling. The guy Emperor Li Shimin trusted to run the entire Tang dynasty capital while he was away conquering kingdoms. One of the greatest administrative minds in Chinese history. A man whose skills were described as planning strategy and stabilizing the nation. And he just spawned in my broke little border village. His stats confirmed it. He's an internal affairs strategist. His passive skills, 10% annual food harvest, 10% financial income, and 10 loyalty for all soldiers and civilians per year. Those bonuses apply to whatever city he governs. He's not a military advisor. He's a governance machine. The system asked if I wanted to appoint him as village chief. Current village chief, Wu Sambao. Replace him. Sorry, old Wu. You've been a decent chief for a village of scared farmers, but I just summoned a guy who managed an empire. This isn't personal. It's an upgrade from a bicycle to a rocket ship. Ding. Fong Xianling appointed as village chief. Food 10%. Income 10%. Loyalty 10/year. Ding. Achievement. First official appointment. Bonus. 10 cavalry cards, 500 horse feed, 5,000 grain, 2,000 water. Cavalry. Horse soldiers. A brand new troop type I didn't have before. And archers from the quest. That's 2 new types in one day. I wrote up an official announcement about the leadership change, handed it to my bodyguard Chen Zhao, and told him to take Fong Xianling to meet Wu Sambao. Old Wu is retired now. All village business, disputes, construction, the Daihan village housing project, everything goes through Fong Xianling from this point forward. Starting him at village level might seem like a waste of talent, but here's my thinking. Let him gain experience managing a small operation first. As the village grows into a town, then a city, then hopefully a metropolis, his skills level up with it. You don't hand someone the keys to an empire before they've managed a neighborhood. Now for the fun part. I checked my inventory and used everything. Ding. 10 cavalry, 20 sword soldiers, 30 archers. 60 new troops flashed into existence. And for the first time, I had variety. Cavalry, actual guys on horses. Archers, ranged attackers who can kill from a distance. No more. Everyone just stab things and hope for the best. Total honor, 628. Silver, 6,950. Grain stockpile, 11,000. 5 different troop types. A legendary general. A legendary strategist. And a village that's finally starting to look like something. That silver mine is looking less impossible by the minute. So let me talk about my 2 new troop types. Cavalry, 10 guys on actual war horses. Lances in hand, looking absolutely majestic. These are high-mobility units built for open-field combat. 10 isn't many, but 10 guys on horses are worth a lot more than 10 guys on foot. Archers, 30 of them, each carrying a massive bow and a fat quiver of arrows. Ranged attackers. Finally, I can hit things from a distance instead of just running face-first into everything. Although, once they shoot all those arrows, I'll need to buy more. Everything costs money. War costs money. I'm already stressed about the arrow budget, and nobody's even fired one yet. I sent all 60 new troops to the barracks. The stables in there handled the horses. Then I dumped everything from my inventory into storage. 11,000 grain, 6,200 water, 500 horse feed. Ding. Supplies sufficient for 42 days. 42 days. Over a month of food security. I nearly cried. We went from, might starve next week, to, we're good until late spring. The system has basically been my sugar daddy keeping this whole operation alive while the farm grows. Current stats check. 260 soldiers total. 110 sword, 50 shield, 30 archers, 10 cavalry, 60 service troops. 1 general, Wu Song. 1 strategist, Fong Xianling. 628 honor, 6,950 silver. Population 177. Things are looking actually good. For the first time since arriving in this world, I'm not in crisis mode. Fong Xianling is handling village management. The troops are training, food is stockpiled. What I'm really missing is a military strategist, someone to help me plan campaigns and discuss strategy. Fong Xianling is brilliant at governance, but he's not a battlefield thinker. Hopefully the system throws me that opportunity soon. Next morning, I was strolling by the training ground, listening to soldiers grunt through their drills, feeling like a real commander for once. Then Fong Xianling came running up with news. My lord, an injured human soldier arrived at the village. He appears to be from the Jade Dragon Kingdom's border garrison. I've had him taken to the medical room. A border garrison soldier? Here? Injured? My stomach tightened. That can't be good. I followed Fong Xianling to the medical room. Inside, a bloodied soldier was getting bandaged up by service troops. His uniform was soaked red. Are you from the border fortress? I asked. The guy looked at my face, and his eyes went wide. You're the 5th prince. I smiled bitterly. Yeah, the exiled one stuck in the middle of nowhere. That's me. Now tell me what happened. What he told me made my blood run cold. The Jade Dragon Kingdom is falling apart. The emperor is in a coma, probably dying. The princes are fighting each other for the throne instead of running the country. And while everyone at the top is busy stabbing each other in the back, the neighboring Great Yin Kingdom saw the opportunity and invaded. At least 60,000 troops hitting the border. The border garrison has 50,000 defenders, but they're underfunded, under-equipped, and barely supplied because the political infighting destroyed the military budget. This scout got chased during a recon mission and ended up fleeing all the way out here. It happened yesterday. This isn't old news. This is a current crisis. Fang Xianling summed it up perfectly. Internal chaos, external invasion. The Jade Dragon Kingdom faces catastrophe. I felt frustrated, angry, helpless. Part of me wanted to help. These are technically my people, or at least the people of the body I'm wearing. The royal family that exiled me is terrible, but the regular soldiers and citizens didn't do anything wrong. But what am I supposed to do? March my 260 guys into a battle involving tens of thousands? That's not heroism. That's suicide with extra steps. And here's the selfish calculation I couldn't ignore. If the Great Yin Kingdom conquers Jade Dragon, they'll eventually sweep through the border region too. Every village, every settlement, cleaned out, including mine. West Waste Village might feel safe right now, but if the kingdom falls, we're next. So doing nothing isn't safe either. But doing something might be impossible. I hate this. After thinking about it for a while, I decided to mind my own business about the kingdom's problems. Yeah, the Jade Dragon Kingdom is in trouble, but it's not going to collapse overnight. They still have 50,000 border troops and some functioning government. And what exactly am I going to do with 260 soldiers against 60,000 invaders? Send a strongly worded letter? Focus on what I can control. Develop the village. Get stronger. Survive. But first, that injured scout. I looked at him and asked, "What's your name? How about you stay and serve in my army?" "I'm Jiangsu." He said it with the enthusiasm of a man being offered a root canal. I checked his stats and nearly choked. Level 16. Speed talent. 8 out of 10. He's a fully promoted scout, started as a service troop, worked his way up through the ranks, and hit the ACE tier, level 16 to 20. This guy has more experience in his pinky than my entire army combined. Everyone I have is level 1 or 2. This man is a level 16 elite. His loyalty score? 0. 0 out of 100. I mean, I get it. The old Ming was infamous. The most useless, troublemaking, scumbag prince in the kingdom. Following him would be career suicide. Jiangsu was sitting there trying to figure out how to say, "Absolutely not," without getting his head chopped off. I patted his shoulder. "Look, I know my reputation was garbage. But people change. Can you imagine this wasteland village developing as well as it has? Take a walk around. See for yourself. Then decide." I walked out without waiting for an answer. Didn't give him permission to leave either. Subtle? No. Effective? We'll see. Fang Xianling stayed behind and tried to hype me up. "Our lord is brilliant and capable. You found yourself a great master." Jiangsu literally stared at him. "Bro, the fifth prince just left the room and you're still kissing up? No wonder you work for him. All your talent is in your mouth." Fang Xianling just smiled and said, "Everything I said is true," then walked out too. I love that man. At noon I was eating my usual sad lunch. Wheat, rice, and water, same as every soldier, when I pulled up the system shop. Time to go shopping for the silver mine assault. Sword soldier, 30 honor/150 silver. Shield soldier, 30 honor/150 silver. Archer, 40 honor/200 silver. Cavalry, 100 honor 600 silver. My budget, 628 honor, 6,950 silver. The Centaur tribe at the silver mine was strong, and I needed numbers. Hoarding resources made no sense when the mine could generate ongoing income once captured. Time to go all in. A lord who's afraid to bet big will stay small forever. I was calculating which troops to buy when. Jiangsu requests an audience. Already? It's been one morning. I figured he'd sulk for at least 3 days. Interesting. Let him in. He walked in wrapped in bandages looking like a sad mummy. I asked if he'd eaten. He said the service soldiers were very hospitable and fed him lunch. Good. Even reluctant recruits should have full stomachs. Then he got to the point. I walked around the village. It doesn't make sense. This is supposed to be a poor border wasteland, but you've got farmland, a lumber yard, a barracks, a training ground. My scout skills are meant to analyze normal situations, not miracles. I laughed. You're right, it is a miracle. I was dumped here with nothing. No royal support, no resources, no help. Everything you see, I built from scratch. So, about my offer, his mouth twitched. He knew he didn't really have a choice. I wasn't letting him leave, and he wasn't dumb enough to try running from a military camp. If your highness wishes me to serve, then I humbly accept. Ding. Jiangsu has joined. Loyalty, 10/100. 10 out of 100. This man joined my team with the commitment level of someone filling out a gym membership they never planned to use. He's absolutely going to bolt the first chance he gets. But that's fine. I know what I have here, a level 16A scout in a village full of level 1 babies. He's invaluable. And once he sees what this place becomes, once he watches the village grow and the army strengthen and the impossible keep happening, he'll stay. Not because he has to, but because he wants to. The wine smells good enough. The customers will come eventually. Jiangsu officially joined my team with the enthusiasm of a prisoner accepting his sentence. But I could see the curiosity eating him alive. A level 16A scout who can't figure out how a garbage village became a military outpost? That's going to drive him insane. He's determined to uncover the secret behind West Waste Village's development. Good luck with that, buddy. Unless you can comprehend what a system is, what inventory means, and why soldiers materialize from thin air and flashes of white light, you're going to be confused for a very long time. Now, time to go broke. I stared at the shop and did the math. The terrain around here is mostly forest, so cavalry can't maneuver well. 10 horsemen as a quick strike squad is plenty. Archers are expensive to maintain because once they run out of arrows, I have to buy more, and my treasury is not exactly overflowing. So the smart play? Good old reliable sword soldiers. Cheap, effective, and they never run out of ammo because their ammo is a sword. How many sword soldiers can I buy with 628 honor? 20. 30 honor each. 20. Honor. 628. Remaining, basically nothing. How many with 6,950 silver? 46. 150 silver each. All of them. Silver. 6,950. Also basically nothing. 66 sword soldier cards. I just spent every single coin I had. Cleaned out. Bank account looking like a desert. But here's my reasoning. I'm attacking the silver mine tomorrow. If I win, I get the mine plus massive quest rewards. If I lose, well, I won't need money if I'm dead. Classic all-in strategy. Plus, casualties are inevitable in battle. After the fight, my total headcount drops, which means food consumption drops too. So the extra soldiers are basically free since some of them won't be coming back. That's dark math, but it's real math. I sent my bodyguard Qin Lang to tell Wu Song. We march at 7 a.m. tomorrow. If things go well, we'll be home for dinner. Next morning, Qin Lang woke me up before dawn. I stumbled out of the command tent still half asleep, but the moment I remembered what today was, I snapped awake like someone threw cold water on me. First thing, summon. 66 cards, 66 flashes of light, 66 brand new sword soldiers standing at attention. Greetings, my lord, music to my ears. Wu Song was already there, army assembled and ready. The man had everyone in formation before the scheduled time. I told him to fold the new guys into the ranks. Numbers matter against the centaurs. We can't afford to leave anyone behind. Consider it done, my lord. Then my bodyguard Chun Zhao walked up with a tray of tea and pastries. Pastries. In a village where we eat wheat rice for every meal. Let me guess. Wu Sambao sent this. Chun Zhao nodded sheepishly. He told me not to tell you it was from him. That sneaky old man. Trying to butter up the boss before a big battle. Classic. Chun Zhao, you eat this. The soldiers haven't had breakfast either. I'm not going to sit here eating pastries while my men march on empty stomachs. But, my lord, I walked away before he could argue. Ding. Chun Zhao loyalty 10. Now 90 out of 100. One small act of selflessness and his loyalty jumped 10 points. That's how you build real devotion. Not with speeches, but with gestures that show you actually care. Outside the barracks, my army stood assembled. The full roster, 10 cavalry, 30 archers, 50 shield soldiers, 176 sword soldiers. Total, 266 combat troops. Plus me and Wu Song. The silver mine was only 10 miles north, about 30 minutes of marching, even less at a jog. close enough that we didn't need to bring supply wagons. Win or lose, we could make it home for a meal. Fang Xinling, Wu Sanbao, and some village elders came to see us off. And there was Zhang Su, wrapped in bandages, staring at my army with his mouth hanging open. I could practically read his mind. Where did 66 new soldiers come from overnight? I scouted the barracks yesterday. These people did not exist. His scout brain was short-circuiting trying to figure it out. And honestly, that's perfect. As long as he's obsessed with solving the mystery, he's not going anywhere. Best anti-desertion strategy ever. Just be so confusing that your people stay out of pure curiosity. I waved goodbye to the crowd and turned north. 266 soldiers at my back. One legendary general at my side. A silver mine ahead. Time to go pick a fight with 100 centaurs. Quick note about the march. I don't have my own horse. The village is too broke to import any. The only horses we have are the 10 that came with the cavalry soldiers. So I had to share a horse with one of the riders, sitting in front while the cavalryman sat behind me like a horse taxi. It was awkward. Every bump in the road was a small incident I'd rather not describe. Mental note, get my own horse. This is non-negotiable. A lord sharing a saddle is just embarrassing. We reached the silver mine in under 30 minutes. The centaur tribe had built shelters all around it. Horse stables basically, which makes sense for creatures that are half horse. A few centaur warriors spotted us immediately and just charged. No warning, no negotiation, no. Who goes there? Just grabbed their axes and war spears and came running. That's centaurs for you. Strong bodies, zero brains. All muscle, no strategy. All troops. Kill the enemy. Take the mine. Kill. 266 voices screamed back. Wu Song led the charge. The first few centaurs we hit were level 5 to 6, experienced fighters compared to my mostly level 1 to 2 guys. They plowed through several of my soldiers like bowling pins with their first charge. Raw physical power that was honestly terrifying. But they drowned in numbers. 5 swords from 5 directions. Doesn't matter how strong you are. They got chopped to pieces. Then the real fight started. The noise woke up the whole tribe. Centaurs poured out of their shelters in waves, grouping up, roaring, stampeding toward us. 70, 80 of them, building into a massive wall of muscle and rage. Shields front, swords behind. Archers, fire. Wu Song read my mind and started organizing the formation alongside me. Shield wall up, sword tips poking through the gaps, and behind us, whoosh 30 archers unleashed a storm of arrows. The sky literally darkened for a second. Arrows rained down on the charging centaurs, and a dozen of them dropped instantly, dead or crippled. Centaurs have tough skin, but tough skin doesn't stop 30 arrows at once. The survivors closed the gap before the archers could reload. And when centaurs hit a shield wall at full gallop, it's like getting hit by a truck. The shield soldiers got knocked sideways, stumbling, and the centaurs' axes started ripping holes in the formation. Within seconds, the organized battle turned into pure chaos. Formation? Gone. Strategy? Gone. Just hundreds of bodies hacking at each other in a giant bloody mess. Their individual fighters were clearly stronger than mine. One centaur could take 2 or 3 of my guys in a straight fight. But between the arrow volley cutting their numbers and the shield charge wounding even more, they were down to maybe 40-something. Against my 200 plus, it was a numbers game now. You kill one of mine, 5 more take his place. Next round, you're surrounded and chopped down. Wu Song was the MVP of this whole battle. He wasn't fighting head-on like a fool. He was weaving through the chaos, picking off centaurs from behind, hitting wounded ones, finishing off stragglers. A backstabbing warrior is 10 times deadlier than a frontal one. He leveled up from 2 to 3 right there on the battlefield. My 10 cavalry stayed by my side as bodyguards. In this dense forest terrain, horses can barely maneuver. No point sending them into the grinder. About 15 minutes later, it was over. Every adult centaur was dead or dying. Wu Song's cleanup crew went through the battlefield, finishing off survivors. Then they searched the shelters and found babies. 30-something young centaurs, still children, but already muscular because of course they are. This species is built different from birth. Wu Song marched them into an open area near the mine and turned to me. My lord, we should kill them all. They'll grow up wanting revenge. I looked at the trembling young centaurs and thought about it. Not because I felt bad. Okay, maybe a little, but because I was doing math. What if we sell them instead? Living merchandise is worth more than dead bodies. Wusong considered this and nodded. That is actually a better plan. Then it's settled. Guard them and we'll drag them back to the village later. With the fighting done, I dismounted to check out my new silver mine. But before I could take a single step, my soldiers started making noise again. They'd found one more centaur hiding in the back, an extremely old one. The tribal chief. They shoved him forward. He looked around at the destruction, his warriors dead, his children captured, his home conquered, and his ancient face was nothing but grief. Every young centaur in the tribe was gone. He was looking at the extinction of his people, and he knew it. I looked down at the old centaur chief. Any last words? He just shook his head. Winner takes all, loser takes nothing. What's left to say when your entire tribe is gone? I nodded at Wusong. One swing. Done. Wusong jumped from level 3 straight to level 4 from that kill. Apparently tribal chiefs give premium experience points. Ding. Achievement. First Lord slain. Rewards. 30 cavalry cards, 100 sword cards, 50 service cards, 1 strategist summon, 100 sword soldier cards, another strategist summon. For killing one old centaur. I almost felt bad about how profitable this was. Almost. Thank you for being my first conquest, I muttered at the body. Dark? Yes. But this world runs on survival of the fittest, and I didn't make the rules. I need resources, they were sitting on resources, and someone was going to take this mine eventually. Better me than the next tribe. The full battle report came in. Ding. Expansion Battle 1. 1,350 honor, 6,750 silver. Casualties, 40 sword soldiers, 37 shield soldiers. Total losses, 77. 77 men. That number hit me hard. These weren't just numbers on a screen. Well, technically they were, but still. 77 soldiers who existed this morning and don't exist now. But then the quest rewards rolled in, and I won't pretend the sting didn't fade a little. Ding. Main quest 3 complete. 30 of each troop type, 10,000 grain, 8,000 water, 500 honor, 3,000 silver. Combined with the battle earnings and the achievement bonus, my inventory was bursting. Over 100 sword cards, 30 of everything else, 80 service cards, 10,000 grain, 8,000 water. Honor at 1,378. Silver at 6,800. I lost 77 soldiers, but I had the cards to replace them, and then some. War is terrible math, but today the math worked in my favor. Now the mine. I walked past the centaur shelters and found a big dark cave entrance. My silver mine. My beautiful, profitable silver mine. Level 1 silver mine detected. System development available. Cost. 200 honor, 1,200 silver. Yes. Do it. The ground shook. Rumbling echoed from deep inside the cave. 5 minutes later, everything went quiet. Ding. Level 1 silver mine developed. Annual income, 120,000 silver coins. Required workers, 80. 120,000 silver per year. I've been scraping together a few hundred coins from killing wolves, and this mine produces 120,000 annually? That's more money than I know what to do with. This one mine changes everything about my financial situation. I had exactly 80 service soldier cards left. How convenient. 80 flashes of light. 80 new miners. Sent them straight into the cave. The system also generated a full mining headquarters, dormitories, kitchen, storage, medical room, recreation area, and all the pickaxes and smelting furnaces they'd need. Free. Just part of the development package. Without this, I would have had to build housing from scratch, so thank you, system. Very generous. One problem, though, the mine was 10 miles from the village, in unsecured territory. Transporting food back and forth regularly would be risky. So I dumped all 10,000 grain and 8,000 water into the mining base's storage room. Ding. Miners supplied for 62 days. 2 months of food. By then I'll need to resupply, but 2 months is plenty of time to figure that out. Wusong raised a good point before we left. Should we leave guards here? If another tribe finds an undefended mine. I didn't love the idea of splitting my forces. The wolf tribe was still out there threatening the village, and spreading thin is how you get destroyed. But an unguarded mine producing 120,000 silver a year? That's like leaving a pile of gold in the middle of a highway. 20 sword soldiers stay as guards. Report anything unusual immediately. So the mine ended up with 100 personnel total, 80 miners, 20 guards. Not ideal, but if anything serious happened, I'd see it on my system panel and rush reinforcements. We marched home and made it back before dark. The whole village was waiting at the entrance. Wu Sanbao, the elders, Zhang Su with his bandages, everyone. When they heard we'd wiped out the Centaur tribe and captured a silver mine, the village erupted. Wu Sanbao pulled out hidden wine. Where was he keeping that? And the villagers brought out dried meat from their hunting stores. The whole barracks turned into a party. Even my soldiers who'd been eating nothing but wheat rice for days were drinking and laughing and eating actual meat. Zhang Su stood off to the side, quiet, clearly rethinking everything he assumed about the useless fifth prince. And in one corner of the barracks, pinned up behind a makeshift fence, 30-something baby centaurs huddled together in the dark. While everyone else celebrated, they just sat there, confused, scared, listening to laughter they couldn't understand. I noticed them as I was walking to bed. Joy on one side, grief on the other. Same camp, same night. That's war, I guess. Last night's victory party was legendary. Well, legendary by poor border village standards. We had wine, dried meat, and good company. In the command tent it was me, Wu Song, Fang Xianling, Wu Sanbao, Zhang Su, and my two bodyguards Chun Zhao and Qin Lang. My whole inner circle in one room, drinking and celebrating. For the first time, this actually felt like something. Not just survival, actual progress. I may have overdone it on the wine, though, because I didn't wake up until the sun was practically overhead the next day. Head pounding, mouth like a desert. Was it smart to let the entire army get drunk with zero defense? Probably not. But morale matters, and soldiers who never get to relax eventually stop being soldiers and start being deserters. I stumbled out of the tent, and my two bodyguards were standing there at attention. My lord, they saluted in unison. Something about that moment hit different. Two men standing guard outside MY tent. Soldiers in MY barracks. A mine producing MY silver. For the first time since arriving in this world, I genuinely felt like a leader. Not a starving ex-prince squatting in a straw hut, an actual somebody. Right. Enough feelings. Time to summon my second strategist. I climbed the wisdom-seeking platform, grabbed the golden book, and the name appeared. Lu Bowen. Lu Bowen, the legendary military genius who helped found the Ming dynasty. One of the greatest strategic minds in Chinese history. A man so brilliant that people compared him to Zhuge Liang. I almost dropped the book. White flash, and there he was. Young, sharp-eyed, radiating intelligence. His stats were exactly what I needed. He's a military strategist, not an administrator like Fang Xianling. His passive skills boost army attack by 10%, health by 10%, and unit cohesion by 10%. That cohesion stat means my soldiers stay calm under pressure instead of panicking and scattering. But his special skill? Strategic foresight. His troops can predict the enemy's next move and react before it happens. Success rate, 10% currently, with a 60-second cooldown. So roughly once every 10 exchanges, one of my soldiers just knows the attack is coming and dodges or counters. As Lu Bowen levels up, that rate increases. That is broken. That is the most overpowered thing I've seen yet. Now I have the complete set. Wu Song the warrior. Fang Xianling the administrator. Lu Bowen the military genius. Ding. Achievement. 3 talents complete. Possessing a general, a military strategist, and a civil administrator simultaneously. Rewards. 100 sword cards, 100 shield cards, 100 service cards, 50 archer cards, 50 cavalry cards, 400 summoning cards. I stared at that number for a solid 10 seconds. Then I used all of them. Ding. 230 sword soldiers, 130 shield soldiers, 100 service troops, 80 archers, 80 cavalry. 620 new troops appeared in my camp in one massive explosion of white light. My total army strength shot up to 939 soldiers. 939. I went from 260 yesterday morning to almost 1,000. My barracks immediately hit capacity. 500 max, and I had over 800 troops trying to squeeze in. Upgrade to level 2 barracks? Cost. 1,000 honor, 5,000 silver. Do it. That cleaned me out. 78 honor and 100 silver left. I also needed a second instructor since one can only train 500 soldiers, so I bought another one too. Now I had literally nothing in the bank. But I had 939 soldiers, 2 legendary strategists, 1 legendary general, a silver mine printing money, and the beginning of something that looked like a real army. The food situation, though. Almost 1,000 soldiers eating daily. My stockpile went from comfortable 2 months to maybe 3 weeks if we're lucky. The farm and the mine would eventually cover costs, but eventually doesn't fill stomachs today. Then the best news of the week arrived. Dahan village had packed up and was moving in. All of them. 400 new residents walking toward West Waste Village with their belongings, ready to start new lives under my protection. Population about to double. Workers, farmers, potential soldiers, all showing up at my doorstep. Things are moving fast. Almost too fast. I've got no money, a hungry army, a wolf tribe still lurking to the east, and now 400 civilians to house and feed. But I've also got Lu Bowen, Fang Xianling, Wu Song, a silver mine, fertile farmland, and nearly 1,000 soldiers. The broke little village in the wasteland is becoming something nobody expected, including me. After lunch I met with He Sheng, the Dahan village chief, in my command tent. Fang Xianling and Wu Sambao were there too. Your Highness, we've convinced everyone. The whole village is here to relocate, just as promised. He Sheng had already taken a look around and noticed the barracks, the facilities, the whole setup. In his mind, the royal court really was developing this place. Perfect. My lie keeps working even when I'm not trying. I pointed them toward the farmland. East side has plenty of space. Divided up by household. Fang Xianling, handle the details. This is why you get an administrator. I don't need to measure land plots and count families. I point in a direction and say, make it happen. That's what being a lord is about. Wu Sambao sheepishly admitted that the new housing construction wasn't going well. Limited resources, limited manpower. Building enough straw houses for 400 people takes time. Fang Xianling immediately stepped in with a solution. The barracks has room. Let them stay there temporarily while we accelerate construction using all available workers. Simple. Practical. Solved. Ding. Strategist Fang Xianling leveled up to level 2. Just from handling village business and giving one smart suggestion. His upgraded skills now boost food harvest by 20%, financial income by 20%, and loyalty by 11 per year. Double the original bonuses. This man is a machine. Ding. Population 386. Total 563. Ding. Population exceeds 500. Reward level 1 academy. Please place it. 500 people. We crossed the threshold. Time for education. I walked to the village center and placed it right there, the most visible spot possible. The ground cracked and reformed, and a beautiful traditional-style academy appeared. Desks, ink, brushes, books, everything except teachers. That's the hard part. Who's going to travel to a dangerous border wasteland to teach kids? I need to make West Waste Village famous enough that people actually want to come here. Which means, ding, main quest 4, establish trade with the outside world. Rewards, 100 of each troop type, 500 honor, 2,500 silver. The system read my mind. Time to go into business. I ran the numbers on what I actually had to sell. The lumber yard produces wood worth about 80,000 silver per year, roughly 219 silver daily. The silver mine produces refined silver worth 120,000 per year, about 328 silver daily. Combined daily revenue, 547 silver. Monthly, over 16,000 silver. That's real income. Enough to buy food, building materials, military supplies, everything we need. The products exist. The question is, who do I sell to? 3 human nations are nearby. Jade Dragon Kingdom, my home, currently being invaded. Great Yin Kingdom, the ones doing the invading. And Northern Qi, peaceful, stable, but further away. Northern Qi would be the safest trade partner. But Jade Dragon is closest, it's my home turf. And even if they discover my little operation, they won't try to steal it. I'm still technically their prince. If Great Yin or Northern Qi found out about a rich, undefended village in no man's land, they'd rob me blind and call it annexation. So Jade Dragon it is, despite the war. Wars don't shut down all commerce. There are always merchants, supply chains, rear areas that still function. But I needed intelligence first. Where exactly is the fighting? Which trade routes are still open? Where can I safely do business? That evening after dinner, I called in Jiangsu, my level 16A scout, the one guy in my entire operation who actually has experience navigating dangerous territory and gathering intel. His loyalty is still garbage, probably around 10, but his skills are exactly what I need right now. Time to send my reluctant employee on his first assignment. Jiangsu walked into my tent looking like a man who'd been staring at a math problem for 3 days, and the numbers kept changing. Your Highness, I could see it on his face. He'd spent the whole time scouting my village and nothing made sense to him. The academy that appeared in the village center overnight. Way too fancy for a dirt-poor settlement. The army that keeps multiplying even after he counts everyone. He probably checked the barracks, counted the soldiers, went to sleep, woke up, counted again, and found hundreds more. The man was questioning his own professional competence. I decided to mess with him a little. So Jiangsu, do you think West Waste Village has potential? He gave me a careful answer. Before? Zero potential. Now, with the farm, lumber yard, and silver mine, it could sustain itself and grow gradually. But Your Highness, how did you build all this? Everything appears out of nowhere. The military growth is abnormal. I grinned. You're a scout. Finding answers is your job. But I'll tell you this much. What you've seen so far is just the beginning. My next goal is to unify this entire border region and establish the fourth independent human territory alongside Jade Dragon, Great Yin, and Northern Qi. His face went completely blank. A fourth human nation? Built from a village? But then I could see him thinking about everything impossible that had already happened here, and instead of laughing, he just didn't rule it out. Progress. Anyway, I need you to scout the Jade Dragon border. Find out how the war is going. If fighting has died down in certain areas, I want to open trade routes. We've got silver and lumber to sell. Yes, sir. He took the mission and left. And honestly, I had a moment of worry. His loyalty is 10 out of 100. That's the loyalty of someone who'd sell you out for a sandwich. What's stopping him from just running away and never coming back? But then I thought about it. Jiangsu is a scout. His entire identity is built around uncovering secrets. And West Waste Village is the biggest unsolvable mystery he's ever encountered. Soldiers appearing from thin air, buildings spawning overnight, a worthless prince suddenly becoming a competent leader. He can't leave without figuring it out. His professional pride won't allow it. He'll be back. The next week was peaceful. Mornings I watched troop training. Afternoons I checked on the farm and lumber yard. Sometimes I sat in the empty academy drinking tea like some kind of retired professor. Life was almost nice. Fong Xianling handled all the village management. Wu Song ran the military drills, and I just supervised everything like a proper lord. Then one afternoon, Fong Xianling burst into my tent. My lord, dust clouds approaching from the east. Looks like an army. East. Of course. That's where the wolf tribe lives. Tell Wu Song to deploy all forces to the east side. I'm right behind you. Ding. Side quest. Repel the wolf tribe's attack. Difficulty, 2 stars. Rewards, 200 sword cards, 300 spear infantry cards, 20,000 grain, 8,000 water, 5,000 cheap wine, 2,000 dried meat. New troop type, spear soldiers. Longer reach than swords, but slower attack speed. Different tool for different jobs. An actual wine and meat in the food rewards? We're moving up from survival rations to actual provisions. My cavalry driver was waiting outside the tent. I hopped on behind him, and we rode to the east side, where Wu Song already had troops forming up. Sword soldiers and cavalry were in position, with shields and archers still arriving. And there they were. The wolf tribe. Again. Led by the same level 6 commander who keeps showing up like a bad rash. What do you want this time? I shouted. Wu Song was fuming. They're demanding people and grain again. Threatening war if we refuse. The wolf commander smirked at me. We meet again. You know, the Jade Dragon Kingdom is currently at war with Great Yin. They can't possibly spare attention for this backwater. Were you perhaps bluffing about royal support, smart wolf? He'd been thinking. The war was public knowledge. And if the kingdom was fighting for survival, why would they waste troops guarding a worthless border village? I looked behind me at the hundreds of soldiers still pouring in. Then I looked back at him with the most casual smile I could manage. Bluffing? You're welcome to test that theory. His eyes darted across my army. Last time he came, I had maybe 140 troops. Now there were hundreds. If I was lying about royal backing, where did all these soldiers come from? If I was telling the truth, attacking us meant war with an entire kingdom. Either way, the math didn't add up in his favor. The beautiful irony? These soldiers have nothing to do with the Jade Dragon Kingdom. Every single one was summoned from my system, one flash of light at a time. But he'd never guessed that in a million years. Nobody would. All 600 of my combat troops arrived at the east side, and the scene was impressive. Rows and rows of soldiers stretching across the field. Even I was a little proud looking at it. The wolf commander and his officers were huddled together whispering. I didn't need to hear them to know what they were saying. We messed up. They brought 300-something troops this time. Their biggest force yet. Would have been scary 2 weeks ago. Now, I had double their numbers and better troops. Lu Bowen walked up beside me and said calmly, "My lord, send the cavalry in first. That's my military genius. No long speeches. No complicated plans. Just hit them while they're hesitating." I nodded at Wu Song, and the man didn't need to be told twice. 89 cavalrymen charged forward with Wu Song at the front. The sound of that many horses hitting full gallop was like thunder. Then the sword and shield troops followed behind in a massive wave. The wolves never stood a chance. Cavalry versus infantry on open ground is like bringing a car to a foot race. My riders smashed through their lines like a bowling ball through tissue paper. Dozens of wolves got impaled by lances or trampled under hooves in the first 30 seconds. The formation, what little they had, dissolved instantly. After a week of training, most of my cavalry were level 2 to 3 now. Same range as the wolf soldiers. But mounted troops with lance superiority versus foot soldiers with short weapons? There's no comparison. Speed, reach, impact force. Cavalry wins in every category. And on top of that, Lu Bowen's passive buffs were active across the entire army. 10% attack, 10% health, 10% cohesion. Plus his special, strategic foresight, skill letting some soldiers predict enemy moves mid-combat. My troops were fighting with literal cheat codes enabled. The archers stayed back since the battlefield was too chaotic for accurate shooting, but honestly, we didn't need them. This was a massacre. I stood there watching with my arms crossed, completely relaxed. The outcome was decided before the first horse even made contact. But inside my head, alarm bells were ringing. This was the wolves' third visit. Each time they bring more soldiers and push harder. Today they brought 300. Next time, 500. Their whole tribe? I can't just keep playing defense. Every time they come, they learn more about my forces. Eventually they'll bring enough to overwhelm us. Or worse, attack when I'm away. The only real solution is to go destroy them first. Take the fight to their doorstep before they bring it to mine. After I collect these rewards, I muttered, I'm wiping out that entire tribe. The battle ended quickly. Over 200 wolf soldiers dead on the ground. Total victory. Ding. Battle won. 680 honor, 3,400 silver. Ding. Side quest complete. 200 sword cards, 300 spear infantry cards, 20,000 grain, 8,000 water, 5,000 cheap wine, 2,000 dried meat. Wine. Meat. My soldiers have been eating plain wheat rice since day one, and now I had actual alcohol and protein to feed them. Plus a brand new troop type, spear infantry. Back to camp. Tonight we feast. Wine and meat for everyone. The whole army roared. After 10 days of boring training and bland food. A victory celebration with actual good stuff? Morale went through the roof. I dumped everything into storage. 20,000 grain, 8,000 water, 5,000 wine jugs, 2,000 dried meat portions. The system calculated. Half a month of supplies. Half a month. That same haul would have lasted 2 months back when I had 200 soldiers. But now with nearly 1,000, resources evaporate. System rewards alone can't feed this army anymore. I need trade income. The lumber and silver are sitting there generating product with nobody to sell to. I must open trade routes. This is no longer optional. I learned from last time though. No more letting the whole army get blackout drunk. Strict rationing. 1 jug of wine per 7 or 8 soldiers. A few cups each, enough to warm up and celebrate, not enough to pass out. In the command tent, my inner circle gathered for the officers' dinner. Wu Song, Feng Xianling, Lu Bowen, Wu Sanbao, He Sheng, and my bodyguards. Zhang Su was out scouting, but his seat was reserved. The food was actually good this time. Wine, dried meat, fresh vegetables, cooked meat. The two old village chiefs brought produce and game from the villagers. Nothing fancy by Earth standards, but after weeks of nothing but wheat, rice, and water, I was practically crying into my cup. Every bite of real food strengthened my resolve. I was mentally screaming, I must establish trade. I must get rich. For food. For actual meals. For the love of everything delicious, I need commerce. Apparently my intense thinking about work during a party expression impressed Wu Sanbao, and he shung. Because, ding. Villager loyalty 10. Both village chiefs now at 95/100. They thought I was being a dedicated, tireless leader contemplating state affairs. I was actually fantasizing about eating something other than wheat rice. Same energy though, right? After the party wound down, I kept my 3 key people in the tent for a real talk. Fang Xianling, all civilian matters are yours. But if something big comes up, discuss it with everyone first. Don't go solo on major decisions. Wu Song, military discipline is on you. Work with the instructors, push the troops hard. I want everyone at level 6 as fast as possible. We need to graduate from rookies to actual soldiers. Lu Bowen, you're my strategic brain. Figure out who's dangerous nearby, how we expand, what to watch out for. Any ideas, come to me immediately. Nobody complained. Nobody rolled their eyes. When a leader talks about work instead of partying, good subordinates feel reassured. It means they picked the right boss. If I were sitting here drunk and rambling about women, their loyalty would tank overnight. Lu Bowen spoke first. My lord, the wolf tribe has attacked 3 times now. This instability must be eliminated. Good news, today's battle pushed him to level 2. His buffs doubled, attack 20%, health 20%, cohesion 20%. And his prediction skill went from 10% to 20% success rate. Bringing him to fights is like activating a permanent army-wide power-up. Broken. I agreed completely. I've been bluffing them with the Royal Army story, but the war exposed that lie. If I didn't have my methods of expanding the army, we'd be dead today. The wolves kept underestimating me because logically, nobody's army doubles in a week. They made reasonable assumptions. I just happened to be cheating. Wu Song wanted to hit them fast. Strike before they prepare defenses. Fang Xianling pushed back. The wolf tribe has been entrenched on this border for years. They're big. A quick strike could backfire. If we overextend, they circle around and hit the village while we're gone. Lu Bowen found the middle ground. Scout first. Learn their numbers and positions. Then advance gradually. Quick planning, careful execution. I nodded. Lu Bowen, this is your project. I wish Zhang Su was here for the scouting, but he's on another mission. Don't worry, my lord. I can use divination combined with field intelligence to estimate their situation. Divination? This man does fortune-telling as a military tool? I love the future. Everyone agreed. Wolf tribe dies first. Meeting adjourned. Next morning, I woke up to the beautiful sound of hundreds of soldiers training outside. Some people would find that annoying. I found it comforting. That noise means my army is getting stronger every second. I stepped outside and immediately summoned yesterday's rewards. 200 sword soldiers. 300 spear infantry, my newest troop type. 500 fresh bodies appeared in a blinding explosion of white light. Total army. Over 1,400 soldiers now. But more soldiers means more instructors. Each one handles 500 troops max, and I only had 2. So I bought 6 more from the shop. Cost me 600 honor and 3,000 silver. Basically cleaned out my wallet again. But I'd rather be broke with trained soldiers than rich with useless ones. And buying extra now means I won't have to worry about it when the next batch of troops arrives. Yesterday's battle casualties were light, 15 dead, 3 shield soldiers, and 12 sword soldiers. Nothing compared to the centaur fight. Updated stats, 1,424 total soldiers. 544 swords, 300 spears, 140 shields, 110 archers, 90 cavalry, 240 service troops. 1 general, 2 strategists, 563 civilian population, and 158 honor plus 500 silver left in the bank, which is basically pocket change. 2 priorities now. First, trade. I need commerce or this army starves within weeks. System rewards can't keep up with 1,400 mouths anymore. Second, destroy the wolf tribe and secure the eastern border permanently. Trade was the one keeping me up at night. The silver mine and lumber yard were producing goods, but with no buyers. It was like owning a restaurant with no customers. Meanwhile, food costs were crushing me. Every day, without trade, felt like a countdown timer on a bomb. Then at lunch, my lord, Jiangsu is back, finally. He walked in smiling. Smiling. First time I'd seen anything other than suspicion or confusion on this man's face. Jiangsu, what happened at the border? Did Great Yin withdraw? I was practically jumping out of my chair. If the war was over, trade routes could reopen and I could start selling things before my army ate itself into oblivion. Jiangsu walked in, and I was practically vibrating with excitement. Did Great Yin withdraw? He gave me a sheepish look. No. I came back because I ran out of food. My face fell so hard it probably hit the floor. I thought you had good news. I do have some news, just not the news you wanted. Fair enough. Here's what he found out. After 10 days of intense siege warfare, Great Yin realized that Jade Dragon was tougher than expected. Plus, Northern Qi was lurking behind them like a vulture, which made them nervous. So yesterday, they stopped attacking and switched to a shakedown, demanding money and resources as the price for withdrawal. Basically, it went from, "We'll destroy you," to, "How much will you pay us to leave?" Classic bully pivot. The negotiations are being handled by the second prince and Prime Minister Luo I, who essentially staged a coup while the emperor was in a coma. They kicked out the crown prince, demoted all the other princes, including the old me, and seized power. On paper, they run the country now. In reality, total mess. Several princes control their own territories and only pretend to obey. Everyone's scheming behind everyone else's back. The kingdom is one bad day away from splitting into pieces, which is exactly why Great Yin attacked in the first place. My old body's owner got the worst deal of all the princes. 0 supporters, worst reputation, most pathetic exile. The other brothers at least had political allies. I got a straw hut in a wasteland. Thanks, past me, for being so universally hated. But the important takeaway was this. Great Yin isn't going to keep fighting. They'll either negotiate a payoff or wait for Jade Dragon to weaken further. Either way, the immediate crisis was cooling down, which means trade routes would be opening up soon. Great work, Jiangsu. I owe you one. Once this place gets rich, I'll pay you back properly. I sent him back out to keep monitoring the border. The second Great Yin pulls back. I need to know. As he was leaving, I noticed him scanning the barracks with his scout eyes, counting soldiers. His face twitched when he realized the army had grown again, over 1,000 now. Every time he visits, the numbers make less sense. He muttered something to himself as he walked away, and I caught the last part. That hope it doesn't disappoint me next time. He's hooked. Loyalty's still 10 out of 100, but his curiosity is basically superglue. This man will keep coming back just to see what impossible thing happens next. Sometimes obsession is better than loyalty. A few quiet days passed. Then Lu Bowen came back from his scouting mission looking like he'd been sleeping in ditches. I poured him a drink, and he downed it in one gulp before speaking. I've mapped the wolf tribe's full territory. He pulled out a hand-drawn map, and my stomach sank. The wolf tribe wasn't just one group. It was 5. The nearest den, the one that keeps bothering us, was 10 miles east. Standard size, 2,000 to 2,500 warriors. 3 more dens further east, each also standard, with similar numbers. And then the main den, 50 miles away, labeled Elite, 3,500 to 4,000 warriors. The headquarters of the entire wolf nation. Total wolf forces across all 5 bases, somewhere between 12 and 15,000. I have 1,400 soldiers. Lu Bowen. I'm not thinking about how to destroy them anymore. I'm thinking about what happens if they all come for us at once. He smiled calmly. Don't worry about that, my lord. Each den operates independently with its own leader and agenda. We've only angered one den. The other 4 don't care about its problems. They're not going to waste their own resources helping a rival. Oh, they're not one unified army. They're 5 separate groups that happen to be the same species. Like 5 companies in the same industry, technically related, but competing with each other. The only time all 5 would unite is if one den was facing total extinction and begged the others for help. A regular border dispute with some humans? The other 4 would shrug and say, sounds like your problem, so I'm not fighting 15,000 wolves. I'm fighting 2,500. That's still almost double my army, but it's a lot better than what I was imagining 30 seconds ago. one den at a time, starting with the annoying one right next door. Looking at Lu Bowen's map, I sighed. We can only play defense for now. Even if we could take out their nearest den, it would cost us heavily, and then the other 4 dens might team up against us. Lu Bowen nodded. Before scouting, he wanted war. After seeing the numbers, he became Mr. Caution overnight. Funny how intel changes opinions. So we entered survival mode. Train in the morning, hunt in the afternoon. I sent nearly 1,000 soldiers out to catch wild animals every day to stretch our food supply. Results were mixed. Some skilled guys brought back 2 or 3 kills. Most came back empty-handed. The problem? Too many hunters in too small an area. We couldn't go far without accidentally wandering into someone else's territory and starting another conflict. Small hunting zone plus 1,000 soldiers equals most of the prey being scared off before noon. The ones who couldn't catch anything switched to picking wild fruit. Feeding an army on berries, very dignified, very lordly. But somehow, through sheer stubbornness and creative scavenging, we scraped by for 20 more days. Then I looked at the storage room, and the math punched me in the face. 10 days of food left. After that, nothing. Starvation. Mutiny. Collapse. Everything I built, gone because I can't feed people. I called an emergency meeting with my 3 advisors over drinks. Drinking because I was stressed, not celebrating. The farm hasn't reached harvest season yet. We're running out of options. Fang Xianling stayed practical. My lord, the lumber yard and silver mine have been producing for over a month now. We've stockpiled plenty of wood and refined silver. If we can sell it, we can buy grain. I know that, I said, maybe a little too sharply. But the Jade Dragon Kingdom is still in chaos. Great Yin hasn't pulled back. If we send a trade caravan and some military patrol decides to confiscate our goods, we lose everything. Soldiers and bandits are basically the same thing when law breaks down. An official seizure is just robbery with paperwork. Wu Song offered the Wu Song solution. Let's just attack the wolf den and steal their food. Classic. When in doubt, hit something. But honestly, destroying one den would bring the other 4 down on us. Then Lu Bowen, my cautious military genius, said something that surprised me. If we can't solve the food problem in 10 days, attacking the wolves might be our only option. Taking one den buys us time. Sitting here doing nothing guarantees the army falls apart. Even the smart guy was saying, fight or die. That's how bad things were. I was pouring another drink when Zhang Su requests an audience. I literally jumped out of my seat. Not an exaggeration. I physically launched myself upward and ran out of the tent so fast I almost knocked Zhang Su over at the entrance. Tell me Great Yin pulled back. He smirked. They started withdrawing this morning. Trade routes are open. I could have kissed this man. Everyone in the tent erupted with relief. Lu Bowen, Fang Xianling, Wu Song, all smiling for the first time in weeks. What was the price for withdrawal? I asked. Zhang Su's expression darkened. The second prince and Prime Minister Luo couldn't get the regional lords to contribute money. So instead of paying from the national treasury, they handed over 5 northeastern territories to Great Yin, 4 counties, and 1 prefecture, all belonging to the third prince. My jaw dropped. They gave away their own country's land to avoid spending their own money? And conveniently, the land they sacrificed belonged to their biggest political rival? Lu Bowen immediately connected the dots. The second prince can reclaim those territories from Great Yin later. But weakening the third prince's power base? That opportunity might never come again. I wouldn't be surprised if the second prince secretly arranged the invasion just to create an excuse for this. Start a war with a foreign nation just to weaken your own brother? That's so evil it's almost impressive. But honestly, not my problem right now. Whatever they're doing to each other, the war is over. That's all I care about. Fang Xianling, start organizing our lumber and silver stockpiles. We leave for trade in 3 days, 10 days from starvation, and we just got our lifeline. The silver mine and lumber yard have been producing for over a month with 0 customers. Time to go sell. I'm going to march into the Jade Dragon Kingdom with a caravan full of goods and come back with enough grain to feed this army for months. And while I'm at it, put West Waste Village on the map. The countdown is on. 3 days to prepare. Then we ride. After Zhang Su's good news, Fang Xianling went into overdrive organizing our trade goods. The man worked so fast that by the next day, everything was packed and ready. 2 carts of refined silver and 5 carts of processed lumber. Over a month's worth of production from the mine and lumber yard, just sitting there waiting for a buyer. I was practically glowing. For weeks I'd been staring at shrinking food supplies and calculating how many days until my army ate itself into oblivion. Now, we had actual merchandise to sell. Real products with real value. The mood in camp was electric. Everyone was talking about what the village could become after we started making money. My advisors were dreaming about county-level development. The bolder ones imagined prefecture level. Cute. My vision? State-level minimum. Possibly a major metropolitan capital. But if I said that out loud right now, they'd think the wine had finally rotted my brain. Better to prove it through action. I assembled my trade caravan. 20 cavalry for protection and speed, 30 sword soldiers for heavy security, Zhang Su as guide since he knows the kingdom's markets, and me on a borrowed horse because I still don't own one. Quick note, I spent the past month practicing horseback riding in the village during my free time. Not an expert yet, but at least I can ride without sharing a saddle with another man. Progress. While I'm gone, I told my team, Fang Xinling handles internal affairs, Liu Bowen handles defense. Keep everything running. Safe travels, my lord. We'll hold the fort. And off we went. On the road, Zhang Su asked the important question, who are we trading with? Local powers? A major trading guild? Independent merchants? I'd already thought this through. A big trading guild is ideal. Better reputation, more reliable, and we might convince them to invest in our territory. Second choice is independent merchants. Spread the word about West Waste Village through grassroots channels. What about local political powers? Last resort. I'm still technically the fifth prince. If I start doing business with any particular faction, the court will assume I'm picking sides in their power struggle. I just got exiled for being useless. Imagine what they'd do if they thought I was building a political alliance. Until we're strong enough to handle that kind of attention, we stay away from politics. Smart strategy if I do say so myself. A merchant can trade with anyone. A prince trading with someone is a political statement. And I'm not ready for that spotlight. By evening we reached the Jade Dragon Kingdom's border fortress, and the place was buzzing. Great Yin had just withdrawn, and people were flooding in and out like a dam had broken. Travelers visiting family, merchants rushing to restart business, message carriers, students, migrants. Absolute chaos in the best possible way. And it wasn't just humans. I spotted demon traders, elves, giants, even dwarf gnome merchants. All forming trade caravans. All wanting to do business. The kingdom keeps its borders open to everyone willing to buy and sell. Smart policy, because isolationism kills economies. Looking at all that commerce flowing through, I couldn't help but imagine West Waste Village someday being that busy. People coming from all directions to trade, live, and work in MY City. It's a distant dream for a settlement that isn't even a county yet, but dreams are free. Your Highness, Zhang Su said, you have special status. I can talk to the fortress commanders and get us through the VIP gate, so we skip the line. The VIP gate, the official gate, is reserved for military transports, urgent intelligence, and people of rank. As the fifth prince of the Jade Dragon Kingdom, even an exiled one, I technically qualified. Do it. Zhang Su ran ahead and came back looking excited. They're opening the official gate for us. Let's go. I looked toward the fortress and saw the heavy gate slowly swinging open. A fast lane straight into the kingdom, no waiting. Time to announce to the world that the fifth prince is back. Not as the disgraced scumbag everyone remembers, but as a lord with soldiers, silver, and lumber to sell. West Waste Village is open for business. I waved my caravan forward, and we rode through. As we approached the fortress gate, a group of military officers walked out to meet us. Leading them was Qin Fong, the border general, tall, intimidating, with a massive scar cutting across half his face. The kind of guy who looks like he eats nails for breakfast. He was staring at my caravan with the most confused expression I've ever seen on a battle-hardened soldier. I could practically read his thoughts. How does the worst prince in the kingdom have soldiers and trade goods? He was dumped in a wasteland with nothing. Fair question. If someone told me a year ago that the laziest, most useless royal screw-up in history would come back with a professional army and carts of silver, I'd have laughed too. But there I was. 20 cavalry, 30 sword soldiers, carts of refined silver and processed lumber. All real. All mine. I dismounted and bowed politely. General Qin, I'm honored you came out personally to greet me. He was sizing me up the entire time. I could see the exact moment his eyes shifted from, "This is a joke," to, "Wait, those soldiers look legit," to, "I should probably be polite just in case." He couldn't figure out how I pulled this off, and that uncertainty made him cautious. "Your Highness, regardless of your current status, proper courtesy is in order. Please, come inside." Translation: I have no idea what's going on with you, but I'm not going to be rude to someone who might turn out to be important later. Smart man. We rode through the official gate and into the kingdom. Seeing the busy streets, the lights, the normal civilization. After over a year in that wasteland, I felt genuinely emotional. I'm back. Not as the disgraced idiot everyone remembers, but as someone with actual resources and power. This time, I'm flipping the script. Everyone who looked down on me. Watch this. That evening, Qin Fong hosted a banquet for me. Not just him. All the border fortress officers showed up. Military strategist Yang Ya, advisor Chen Yu, generals, captains, the whole crew. Every single person in that room was staring at me like I was a zoo exhibit. The worthless fifth prince who got exiled came back with an army and trade goods. Yeah, I could feel the disbelief radiating off them like heat from a furnace. Qin Fong raised his cup. To the fifth prince's return. Let us drink. Every officer in the room followed suit. Dozens of cups raised in my direction. I was, honestly, a little shocked. A year ago, nobody would have wasted water on me, let alone good wine. But power changes things. They didn't know what was backing me, and that mystery made me dangerous enough to respect. I kept my composure and said something I'd been rehearsing in my head. I appreciate the warmth, everyone. But please, drop the prince title. I'm just a village man now. Call me Li Ming. I'll drink to your kindness. Then I downed the whole cup in one go. The entire room froze. Cups halfway to mouths. Eyes wide. This was not the Li Ming they remembered. The old one would have demanded they bow deeper, complained about the wine quality, and acted like everyone owed him the world. Instead, here I was being humble, speaking with grace, showing basic human decency. Their brains were short-circuiting. Qin Fong's eyes narrowed with a new kind of interest. I could see the gears turning. This is not the same person. He's right. It's literally not the same person. But he doesn't need to know that. After the shock wore off, the drinking began for Real. And the food. Oh my God, the food. On the outside, I was eating slowly, maintaining dignified composure, nodding thoughtfully between bites like a proper gentleman. On the inside, this wine is incredible. What is this brewing technique? The chicken is so tender I might cry. And this braised pork? Are you kidding me? These grapes have so much juice. Definitely imported from the elves or something. I've been eating wheat rice for a month and a half. This is the greatest meal of my entire existence across both lifetimes. I was having a religious experience with every bite while maintaining a poker face that deserved an award. The gap between my external calm and internal screaming could have powered a city. For a brief moment I considered just staying here, living in civilization, eating real food forever. But no, the kingdom has no place for me. I need to take this motivation and channel it into building West Waste Village until we have food this good every day. After 3 rounds of wine, Advisor Chun Yu finally asked the question everyone was dying to know. Your Highness, what resources are you trading? I smiled. Time to show these people what the useless prince has been building. Processed lumber and refined silver. Lumber and refined silver. The room went dead quiet. Everyone exchanged glances, then looked at Advisor Chun Yu, who was clearly the designated, asked the uncomfortable questions. Guy. Your Highness, forgive me, but you were exiled to a wasteland village with nothing. Where did the resources come from? Where did the soldiers come from? I smiled like it was the most obvious thing in the world. I earned it all myself. The soldiers are local volunteers from the border region who rallied to my cause. The resources come from my own territory. I captured a silver mine and a lumber yard from demon tribes. Every jaw in the room dropped simultaneously. You could have heard a chopstick hit the floor. I could see the math running behind their eyes. A broke, disgraced prince with zero reputation. In a village so poor that even the dirt was low quality. Somehow recruited an army. And conquered demon territories? Their brains were screaming, impossible. But their eyes were looking at my very real cavalry, my very real soldiers, and my very real carts of silver and wood parked outside. The 4 words bouncing around every skull in the room. This can't be real. And honestly, if I were in their position, I wouldn't believe me either. Building something from nothing sounds easy when you summarize it in 2 sentences. Actually doing it, without a cheat system that spawns soldiers from thin air, would be basically impossible. But I had the goods to prove it, so what were they going to do? Call me a liar while staring at my merchandise? They kept shooting suspicious glances at each other while I just kept eating. Because this food was incredible, and I was not going to let their skepticism ruin my meal. Every bite of tender chicken was worth more than their opinions. The banquet ran until late. Everyone eventually went home, still scratching their heads. A servant helped me stumble back to my guest room. I may have overdone the wine a tiny bit, and I collapsed into bed with a full stomach for the first time in weeks. No wheat rice. No dried meat. Actual real food. Life was beautiful. Meanwhile, I later found out that after I left, Qin Fong and his advisors had a whole debate about me. Military strategist Yang Ye basically said, he's a nobody with a tiny operation that isn't even county level. Once trash, always trash. Who cares? Advisor Qin Yu agreed, but added, his behavior has changed, but I don't believe 1 year can fix someone that broken. There's something else going on behind the scenes, Qin Fong suggested. What if we visit West Waste Village ourselves and investigate? Yang Ye walked out laughing. Waste your own time, not mine. But Qin Fong and Chun Yu stayed behind, whispering about a secret visit to my territory. Great. More people trying to figure out my secret. Get in line behind Zhang Su, guys. Next morning at 7 a.m., Zhang Su shook me awake like the building was on fire. My lord, I set up a meeting with the Daluo Trading Guild. We need to go now. All sleepiness vanished instantly. While I was stuffing my face at the banquet last night, I'd sent Zhang Su to find a major trading partner. And he delivered. The Daluo Trading Guild. This wasn't some corner shop. This was one of the biggest commercial organizations in the entire continent. They had trading posts in every major human city and somehow convinced non-human races to let them set up shop in their territories too. Elves, demons, giants. Daluo did business with everyone. Hands that reach heaven was the phrase people used to describe them. These guys could sell sand to a desert and then buy the desert. If I could partner with Daluo, I wouldn't just sell lumber and silver. I could get them to advertise West Waste Village. Attract merchants, investors, settlers. One partnership with the right guild could do more for my territory than 100 military victories. Zhang Su was chattering excitedly about how powerful Daluo was as we rode through the morning streets. Our caravan drew plenty of stairs. 50 soldiers escorting trade carts through a busy city wasn't exactly subtle. A few people recognized my face and did double takes, but nobody believed it was really me. The disgraced fifth prince leading a trade expedition? More likely to be some random governor on a business trip. My reputation was still so bad that being seen alive and functional was considered less believable than mistaken identity. That's fine. They'll learn my name soon enough. The Daluo Trading Guild's branch office was a 7-story building in the fanciest district of the border city. 7 floors. Prime real estate. In a neighborhood where a closet probably costs more than my entire village. I stood outside staring at the glowing sign, Daluo Trading Guild, spelled out in luminous mineral stones, and felt like a farmer walking into a 5-star hotel. Compared to West Waste Village, this place might as well be on a different planet. Zhang Su handled the entrance, showed some credential to the doorman, who looked at me with a very curious expression before letting us in. I brought 10 sword soldiers to push the resource carts inside, while the cavalry waited outside. The interior was even more ridiculous than the exterior. Chandeliers, luxury decorations, expensive everything. These people had the kind of money where they didn't just have money. They had, I could buy your country, money. No wonder they operated across every race's territory. When you're that rich, borders are just suggestions. Zhang Su found a clerk and explained our business. The clerk also gave me that look. Is that really who I think it is? Look. At this point I was getting used to it. Being the kingdom's most famous failure has its perks. Everyone recognizes you. An elderly man came walking toward us. White hair, white beard, but eyes sharp as knives. This guy looked like someone's sweet grandpa, but radiated the energy of a man who'd cheated death and 3 tax collectors before breakfast. You must be the 5th prince, he said, zeroing in on me instantly. Yuan, chairman of the Daluo Trading Guild's border branch. The chairman came to meet me personally? A fallen prince with a tiny operation barely worth mentioning? He was definitely here out of pure curiosity, same as everyone else. Let me see this miracle in person, energy. Please, call me Li Ming. I'm just a commoner now. He waved that off with a laugh. Commoner or not, royal blood is royal blood. Fifth prince it is, smooth talker. You don't become a guild chairman without being able to charm a snake out of its skin. He led me to a VIP tea room on the 5th floor. Special tea called Red Dan Puer, a guild exclusive not available anywhere else. Dragon extract incense burning in the corner. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the busy streets below. The kind of room where empires get bought and sold over casual conversation. I felt wildly out of place. I was here to sell some wood and silver for grocery money, and they were treating me like a visiting dignitary. But hey, free fancy tea. I took a sip, and wow. The tea went down warm but hit my stomach cold, then sent a wave of clarity shooting straight to my brain. It was like getting slapped awake by flavor itself. An incredible aftertaste of red tea lingered on my tongue. Good tea, I blurted out before I could stop myself. Yuan smiled like a man who hears that 50 times a day. Told you. Then he got down to business. So, 5th prince. Lumber and refined silver? That's right. Everything's downstairs. Feel free to inspect it. Quick math. My 2 operations produce about 547 silver per day combined. The goods I brought represented about a month and a half of production. Total estimated value, around 22,537 silver coins. Not life-changing money for someone like Yuan, but for a village 10 days from starvation? That's everything. Then came the question. The same question everyone asks. Forgive me, 5th prince, but everyone knows you were exiled with nothing. How did you acquire these resources? I gave the same answer as last night. I led local volunteers against demon tribes, captured a silver mine and a lumber yard, and produced these goods myself. Yuan's expression went through the exact same cycle as Qin Fang's officers. Confusion, disbelief, suspicion, more confusion. And where did your soldiers come from? If I recall correctly, you left the kingdom without a single follower or a single coin. Ouch. True, but ouch. Village volunteers from the border settlements. They answered my call and rallied behind me. Yuan was mid-sip when I said this. He choked on his tea. Full-on coughing fit. Face turning red. Hands slapping the table. Are you all right, Chairman? He wiped his face, took a breath, and stared at me like I'd told him the moon was made of cheese. I get it. Every answer I give sounds completely reasonable when you hear it. But the second you actually think about it, your brain screams, that's impossible. A prince with 0 money, 0 reputation, and 0 followers somehow convinced random villagers to fight demons for him? And won. From their perspective, I might as well be claiming I taught a fish to climb a tree. But the silver was real. The lumber was real. The soldiers were real. And no matter how hard they tried, nobody could figure out the gap between starting with nothing and showing up with an army. That gap, of course, was a system that spawned soldiers from thin air. But I wasn't going to mention that over tea. Your Highness, are you perhaps hiding something? Yuan pressed. Everything I said is true. I have over 1,000 soldiers stationed at West Waste Village right now. This trade trip is literally to buy food so they don't starve. Yuan's eyes went wide, then narrow, then wide again. Please don't lie to an old man. And that's when I decided to have some fun. See, everyone keeps doubting me. Everyone keeps making the same face. You're clearly lying, but I can't prove it, face. So instead of trying to convince this old fox, I went the opposite direction. I cranked the truth up to 11 and let it sound so ridiculous that he'd have to come verify it himself. My territory has a massive barracks up north with over 1,000 soldiers training on a proper military field right now. Villagers from neighboring settlements have already migrated to join us. Population is growing. I have 2 legendary strategists and a powerful general serving under me. There's a beautiful academy in the village center. Haven't hired teachers yet, but that's next on my list. We have farmland that produces incredibly fertile crops. This autumn's harvest is going to be amazing. I just kept going. Every sentence more unbelievable than the last. And every word, completely, 100% true. Yuan's expression went through 5 stages. First, thoughtful consideration. Second, mild suspicion. Third, growing disbelief. Fourth, treating it like a fairy tale. Fifth, genuine anger. In his mind, I was mocking him. 1,000 soldiers in a wasteland? Volunteers choosing to move to the poorest village in existence? Expert strategists following a disgraced nobody? A fancy academy where people can't even afford food? Fertile farmland on rocky terrain where nothing grows? Every single claim sounded like the fantasy of a delusional child. And he, a prestigious guild chairman who cleared his schedule to meet me, was being forced to listen to it like a babysitter. His face went dark, cold, annoyed. Perfect. Chairman, you don't believe me? Humph. That was all I needed. Then how about a bet? His eyes narrowed. A bet? You clearly think I'm talking nonsense. Surely a man of your stature isn't afraid of a simple wager? He was trapped. He'd already expressed his disbelief with that cold, humph. Walking it back now would look weak. So he agreed. Fine. Name your terms. If West Waste Village isn't as I described, I'll give you everything I brought today, all the silver and lumber, for free. He didn't even blink at that. A few carts of goods worth 20-something thousand silver? That's pocket lint to a guild this size. He sipped his tea calmly. And if, hypothetically, your village is as you described, then you set up a Daluo trading guild branch in my village. And you buy everything my mine and lumber yard produce at 10% above market price. Furthermore, he added, almost laughing, if there really is a beautiful academy in the center of your village, I'll personally arrange for a group of accomplished scholars to go teach there. He was smiling as he said it. The man was so confident I was lying that he threw in the teacher thing as a joke. A permanent trading post with premium prices and free educators? That would be worth a fortune to me. And he offered it because he thought there was zero chance he'd lose. Oh, buddy, you have no idea what you just agreed to. We shook on it and went downstairs to finalize the actual trade. My goods were inspected, valued, and sold at the 10% premium he'd already agreed to, since the bet was already in motion. Total income, 24,790 silver coins. 24,790. Handed to me as two 10,000 denomination bills and a bag of loose silver. I held actual money in my hands. Real money, earned from real products produced by real workers in my real territory. Not system rewards. Not loot from dead monsters. Commerce. Ding. Main quest for complete. Rewards. 100 of each troop type summoning card. 500 honor. 2,500 silver. 6 troop types times 100 each equals 600 new soldiers waiting in my inventory. My army was about to jump from 1,400 to 2,000. The guild chairman thought he was humoring a delusional fool. In reality, he just signed a deal that's going to give me premium trade prices, a permanent commercial partner, and a full teaching staff. All because he couldn't imagine that the truth could be this unbelievable. Sometimes the best strategy isn't convincing people you're telling the truth. It's letting them bet against you. I walked out of that guild building with nearly 25,000 silver in my pocket, 600 summoning cards in my inventory, and a bet I literally cannot lose. West Waste Village is about to level up. Hard. Walking out of the Daluo Trading Guild, I couldn't stop grinning. Yuan agreed to meet us outside the city gates later. He wanted to follow us back to West Waste Village to verify our bet personally, which is exactly what I wanted. Jiangsu, meanwhile, was extremely confused. My lord, why did they pay us 10% above market price? We didn't bring enough volume to earn a premium. That makes no sense. I smiled. You're a scout. Figure it out. I can't figure it out if you won't tell me what you discussed. Just wait until Daluo sets up a trading post in our village. Then you'll understand. Jiangsu literally stuck a finger in his ear to check if it was working. I'm sorry. Did you just say the Daluo Trading Guild is setting up a branch in our village? Yep. I'm already thinking about where to put the commercial district. We might need to expand the village borders. The poor man looked like his brain was trying to divide by zero. The Daluo Trading Guild, the one that only builds branches in state-level cities, or at minimum wealthy prefecture-level cities, was going to open shop in a settlement that wasn't even a county. A village with 500 farmers who hadn't even harvested their first crop yet. I could practically see his internal monologue. This idiot prince heard some polite small talk and thinks it's a business deal. He has zero real-world experience. I need to find out the village's secret and get out before this fool drags me down with him. Ding. Jiangsu loyalty -5. Now at 5 out of 100. 5 out of 100. The man is one bad day away from negative loyalty. He genuinely thinks I'm delusional. Can't really blame him. If someone told me that a global corporation was opening a flagship store in a trailer park because the trailer park owner made a bet, I'd question their sanity. 2. But facts are facts. When UN shows up and sees everything I described, the barracks, the army, the academy, the farmland, his jaw is going to hit the ground. And Zhang Su, standing right there watching it happen, is going to have the biggest "I was wrong" moment of his professional career. Patience. Let reality do the talking. Now shopping time. For the first time since arriving in this world, I had actual spending money. Nearly 25,000 silver to burn. And my soldiers had been eating wheat, rice, and water for so long that some of their loyalty scores were dropping 3 to 7 points purely from bad food. Can't blame them. I'd desert myself if I had to eat that garbage forever. First stop, food. And not just grain this time. We bought 5 types of grain, vegetables, fruits, a small amount of real meat, and, this is important, cooking supplies. Oil, salt, soy sauce, vinegar, TA. Actual seasoning. My soldiers were about to discover that food can have flavor. We bought enough supplies to feed the entire army for a month, including the 600 new troops I haven't summoned yet. Their portions were already calculated in. Second stop, clothes. I bought myself several new outfits. Nothing fancy, simple, clean, practical. My old silk robes were technically expensive, but after a year in a wasteland, they looked like something you'd find in a dumpster. New clothes, new image. 50 silver total. Bargain. Third stop, weapons. Specifically, arrows. Thousands of them. My 110 archers had been slowly running low, and arrows are non-negotiable for a ranged unit. We don't have the technology to make our own yet, so buying was the only option. Cost, several thousand silver. Archers are expensive. After everything, my 25,000 silver was down to a few hundred. Gone fast. And that was just covering basics, food, arrows, and some clothes. I didn't even touch armor upgrades, weapon replacements, or equipment improvements for the rest of the army. The spending list is endless. Getting rich isn't a luxury for us. It's pure survival math. Around noon, my stomach was growling so loud the horses probably heard it. We couldn't afford a restaurant for 50-plus people, and our purchased food needed cooking, so we ate our usual dry rations and water. Dry, flavorless, depressing, in a city full of restaurants. But tonight the troops eat real food, with seasoning, and the guys who came on this trip get bonus wine and dried meat as a reward. Push through, everyone. Hot food and drinks tonight. Anyone on this mission gets an extra ration of wine and meat. Soldiers' faces lit up instantly. Amazing what the promise of a decent meal can do for morale. It's like a magical motivation spell that costs nothing to cast. We loaded up the carts and headed for the city gates. Ewan was already waiting outside, probably still chuckling about what he considered the easiest bet of his life. Enjoy that smile while it lasts, old man. When we got back to the city's official gate, I found 2 groups of people waiting for me. The first was Yuan with about 20 people, mostly guards. Expected. We had a bet to settle, so of course he was coming to inspect my village. The second group? General Qin Fong and Advisor Chen Yu with another 20-something people. General Qin? What are you doing here? He gave me the fakest smile I've ever seen. I thought I'd escort you home. For safety, you know. Dangerous roads and all, right? Escort. That's why you brought your advisor on a security mission. Because nothing says combat readiness like a scholar who'd trip over his own robes in a fight. And your 20 guys are less than my 50 soldiers. So exactly who is protecting whom here? This wasn't an escort. This was a field trip. These 2 were so curious about my village after last night's banquet that they literally packed bags and followed me home like stray cats. I couldn't exactly say no to a border general, so I just went with it. How kind of you, General. Let's go. Qin Fong noticed Yuan's group and raised an eyebrow. Chairman Yu, are you also heading to the 5th Prince's territory? I have a prior arrangement to inspect his village. The 2 men exchanged a look. They immediately realized they were there for the exact same reason. Neither of them believed a word I said, and both wanted to see the truth with their own eyes. So there I was, leading a parade back to West Waste Village. My trade caravan, Yuan's inspection squad, and Qin Fong's escort team. 3 groups, 1 destination, 0 people who believed my story. Perfect. We arrived around 4 p.m. The first thing visible from a distance was my level 2 barracks, a massive military compound that had no business existing in a poor border wasteland. I sneaked a glance at my three guests. All three faces, frozen, mouths slightly open, eyes very wide. And we hadn't even entered the village yet. Then we got closer, and the barracks exploded with activity. Over 1,000 soldiers came pouring out, forming lines, and bellowing in unison. "Welcome back, my lord." The ground practically shook. 1,000 voices screaming my name in perfect coordination. And behind the soldiers, hundreds of villagers came running too, waving and cheering like I was returning from winning a war. The soldiers' respect could be explained as military discipline. They have to salute. But the civilians? Those villagers were cheering because they genuinely wanted to. You can't fake that kind of enthusiasm. 500 regular people don't run out of their homes screaming with joy for someone they hate. For anyone who remembered the old Ming, the bully, the scumbag, the guy villagers refused to even feed, this scene was like watching a pig sprout wings and fly. "My people are quite enthusiastic," I said casually to my three stunned guests. "Hope they didn't scare you." Nobody answered. Their brains were buffering. Qin Fong was staring at the barracks complex, the training ground, the two ceremonial platforms, the sheer scale of military infrastructure. Chinyu was doing mental math on how many troops were actually here. Yuan looked like a man who'd just realized his easy bet might be the worst financial decision of his career. Then my three commanders walked up. "My lord, welcome back, Lu Bowen, Fong Xinling, Wu Song." All three, together, looking absolutely elite. I turned to my guests with the most casual tone I could manage. "Allow me to introduce my team. This is my military strategist, Lu Bowen, sharp eyes, brilliant aura, the kind of person who makes you feel like he already knows what you're about to say. My village chief, Fong Xinling, calm, refined, scholarly, radiating the quiet confidence of someone who could manage an empire before breakfast. And my general, Wu Song, massive, powerful, the kind of man where you just look at him and think, I should not make him angry." Qin Fong, Chinyu, and Yuan nodded mechanically, eyes glazing over. These three subordinates were clearly exceptional people, not random villagers playing soldier. Even without knowing their legendary backgrounds, anyone with experience could see they were in a completely different class. And they were working for me. The useless prince. In a worthless village, I watched my guests' faces cycling through shock, confusion, disbelief, and grudging respect on infinite loop. This was the most satisfying moment of my entire second life. Then I delivered the finishing touch, introducing everyone to each other. When I casually mentioned that Yuan had bought our goods at 10% above market price and was here to inspect the territory for future cooperation, Lu Bowen and Fong Xinling looked impressed. Little did they know, he was actually here because he bet I was a liar and came to collect his winnings. The winnings he is absolutely, definitely, 100% not getting. I glanced at Yuan's shell-shocked face one more time and had to physically stop myself from laughing. "Welcome to West Waste Village, gentlemen. The tour hasn't even started yet." I sent the troops to unload the supplies and grab my VIP guests for a village tour. Me, Lu Bowen, and the rest of my team on horseback, with Qin Fong, Chinyu, and Yuan tagging along like tourists at a theme park. "I must say, Fifth Prince, your little exile village is surprising," Qin Fong said with a tone that was trying very hard to sound casual. "Starting conditions don't matter," I said. "With enough effort, a straw hut can become a golden palace." I could feel Qin Fong mentally rolling his eyes. In his mind, hard work means nothing without proper conditions. A barren wasteland is a barren wasteland no matter how hard you try. Foolish optimism from a foolish prince. That's fine. Let's see how long that attitude lasts. First stop, the academy in the village center. This is our educational facility. Please, have a look inside. All three guests went stiff. The building was genuinely beautiful. Classical architecture, elegant design, the kind of structure you'd expect in a proper city, not a dirt-poor border village. Their faces were doing that thing again, where the eyes go wide and the mouth forgets how to close. Inside was even better. Clean classrooms, organized desks, complete sets of ink, brushes, paper, and reference materials. This wasn't a decoration. It was a real school ready for real students. Yuan let out a long sigh. "I must admit, Fifth Prince, you weren't lying. I was foolish to doubt you." Then he said the magic words, "Per our bet, I'll arrange teachers for your academy. But I need to verify everything else you claimed before I set up a trading post and commit to the premium pricing." The second those words left his mouth, Qin Fong and Shun Yu whipped their heads around like they'd heard a gunshot. A Daluo Trading Guild branch? Here? At premium prices? Their faces screamed. What did we miss? Liu Bowen and my team didn't know the full story yet either, but they could sense something big was happening. Free teachers and a permanent trade partnership? That's not small talk. That's transformative. Don't worry, Chairman Yu. I'll show you everything. Every single thing I claimed. Yuan nodded. Interestingly, he didn't look upset about losing. The old fox was already calculating. If my village could develop this far through mysterious means, how much further could it go? Maybe, losing, this bet was actually the smartest investment he'd ever make. Merchants, always thinking 3 moves ahead. Qin Fong chimed in. So that's why you came along, Chairman Yu. A bet. Quite a bold wager. Yuan laughed it off. Win some, lose some. Besides, I haven't seen everything yet. Next stop, the western farmland. It was late afternoon, around 4:40, but there was still plenty of daylight. I led everyone to the fields and watched their jaws hit the ground for the 100th time today. Qin Fong actually got down in the dirt, grabbed a handful of soil, smelled it, rubbed it between his fingers. His expression went from curious to genuinely confused. This soil is loose, dark, nutrient-rich. This is premium farmland. Even our border fortress doesn't have soil this good. We depend on grain shipments from the capital. This location is more remote than my fortress. There should not be fertile land here. Chun Yu and Yuan did the same inspection. Same conclusion. This dirt had no business being this good. How is this possible? They kept asking each other. I shrugged with my best mysterious smile. Effort and creativity, gentlemen. There are always exceptions. My territory happens to be one. Qin Fong stood up and brushed off his hands. I'll be honest, Fifth Prince. Your village is the weirdest place I've ever seen. It's not poor, but it's not rich. It has fancy buildings, but it's nowhere near a proper town. It's like someone took pieces from 5 different places and glued them together. Blunt guy. But he wasn't wrong. My village was a Frankenstein's monster of system-generated infrastructure slapped onto a poverty-stricken settlement. Nothing about it made logical sense, which is exactly why everyone who visits leaves more confused than when they arrived. Not being finished means there's room to grow, I said. This village won't stay a village forever. Qin Fong shrugged like he half believed me. In his mind, we were still small potatoes. Interesting small potatoes, but small potatoes nonetheless. Last stop, the lumber yard down south. Inside, service soldiers were chopping trees and processing timber on an assembly line. The whole operation ran like a proper factory, organized, efficient, productive. A complete industry chain in miniature. And that covers what's inside the village, I announced. The silver mine is 10 miles north. We passed near it on the way in, but didn't stop. I took it from a centaur tribe we wiped out. Oh, and we've still got 30-something baby centaurs penned up back at the barracks. Haven't figured out what to do with them yet. I dropped that last detail as casually as someone mentioning they had leftover pizza in the fridge. 3 guests. 3 different flavors of shock. Yuan mentally recalculating his loss. Qin Fong grudgingly impressed despite himself. Qin Yu scribbling mental notes like a man witnessing history. And me? Standing in the middle of MY village, surrounded by MY army, showing off MY territory to people who thought I was finished. Best day ever. We could visit the silver mine too, I offered, glancing at the darkening sky. It's 10 miles north. But you know, it is getting late, and we do have a bet to settle. I gave Yuan a look that basically said, your call, old man. I've got nothing to hide. But if you want to walk 20 miles round trip in the dark just to see a mine, be my guest. Yuan read the situation perfectly. No need. I've seen enough. Your military strength could obviously handle a mine conquest, and those baby centaurs back there are proof enough. He paused. I lost the bet. Fair and square. I'll arrange teachers for your academy and set up a Daluo Trading Guild branch here. Premium prices on all your goods. As promised, music to my ERS. Qin Fong and Chun Yu exchanged looks of pure disbelief. A Daluo branch. In West Waste Village. They'd walked into this trip thinking I was a delusional fool, and now they were watching one of the continent's most powerful trading organizations commit to opening shop in my backyard. Liu Bowen and Fang Xianling took the news with dignified calm, impressed but not losing their composure. Wu Song just nodded like, yeah, obviously, but Zhang Xu, the man standing at the back of the group who'd spent the entire morning thinking it was an idiot for believing Daluo would come here. The guy whose loyalty dropped to 5 out of 100 because he thought I was delusional. That Zhang Su was staring at Yuan with an expression that could only be described as, my entire worldview just shattered. He finally understood why we got the 10% premium on today's trade. I'd negotiated it as an advance on the bet. He finally understood I wasn't hallucinating. Everything I said that sounded crazy, all true. Every single word. Ding. Zhang Su loyalty 20. Now at 25 out of 100. From 5 to 25 in one moment. Quintupled. Still not great, but the trajectory just changed dramatically. The man went from planning my escape to maybe I should stick around. We headed back to the barracks area where I showed everyone the pinned-up baby centaurs. I hadn't actually checked on them since we captured them over a month ago, and they looked skinny. Sir, centaurs eat both meat and plants, one of the caretaker soldiers explained. We only had grain and water to spare, so their nutrition has been unbalanced. Yeah, my bad on that one. Yuan's eyes lit up. Fifth Prince, you clearly don't know how to care for these creatures. Why not sell them to me? Save yourself the feeding costs. Sold. Market rate is 1,500 silver per young centaur. You have 34 of them. That's 51,000 silver total. I'll have the money delivered. 51,000 silver. For some baby horses I'd been accidentally starving in a pen. My silver mine and lumber yard combined earn maybe 16,000 a month. These 34 centaur kids were worth 3 months of industrial output. I suddenly had a deeply immoral business idea. What if I just kept raiding demon tribes and selling their young? It's terrible. It's basically trafficking. It's also incredibly profitable. Let's table that thought for now. With the tour complete and darkness falling, I invited everyone to stay overnight. Nobody wanted to travel through dangerous border territory at night, so they all agreed. We had dinner in the command tent, and for once, the food was actually decent. Fresh vegetables and real meat from today's shopping trip. The only letdown was the wine. Still, that system provided rough stuff. But our guests understood. For a village that was eating wheat rice 2 days ago, this was practically a Michelin star upgrade. I didn't forget my promise to the troops who came on the shopping trip either. Every soldier got their promised wine and dried meat bonus. Always keep your word. That's Leadership 101. Ding. Loyalty increases across the board for rewarded soldiers. Late that night, after the guests retired to guest quarters in the barracks, my inner circle gathered in the command tent. Fang Xianling raised the concern I'd been expecting. My lord, showing our strength to outsiders could attract unwanted attention. Your brothers in the capital might see you as a threat. You're still technically a prince with a claim to succession. Valid worry. The old Li Ming got exiled for being useless. A new Li Ming with an army, industries, and commercial partnerships? That's not a joke anymore. That's a political player. And political players get targeted. But I waved it off. This is exactly what I want. I need West Waste Village to become famous. The Daluo branch will boost our reputation, attract merchants, bring in settlers. We can't grow in the shadows forever. Liu Bowen stepped in with the practical solution. Fang Xuanling's concerns are valid, but we're not defenseless. We should ally with one of the princes, pledge nominal support in exchange for protection. That way we have a political shield while we grow. Everyone nodded. Smart move. Pick a side, get a patron, keep building quietly behind the alliance. The question was, which prince? I already had someone in mind. Next morning was beautiful. Bright sun, clear skies, soldiers training hard on the field. I stood at the edge of the training ground watching my troops drill, feeling genuinely proud. Qin Fong was beside me, observing. After a long silence, he said simply, your soldiers are really good, fifth prince, short, direct, real. When someone means a compliment, they don't wrap it in fancy words. It's the flowery speeches you can't trust. But then he added, though most of them look like they haven't been training very long. Sharp eye? You don't spend a lifetime in the military without being able to read soldiers like a book. He could tell just from watching them move. I scanned the field and did my own assessment. Out of over 1,000 combat troops, Only about 400 had reached level 6, the threshold from rookie to regular soldier. A handful of standouts had hit level 7. Everyone else was still level 4 to 5, firmly in rookie territory. Makes sense. The ones I summoned earliest had more training time and battle experience. The newer batches hadn't even seen combat yet. You're right, I admitted. My military buildup really only started 2 months ago. Most of these guys are still green. I could see the gears turning in all 3 guests' heads. 2 months. Over 1,000 soldiers. From nothing. How? Where did they all come from? Why would anyone follow a disgraced prince with the worst reputation in the kingdom? They were circling the same unsolvable mystery that drives Zhang Su crazy. And just like Zhang Su, they'd never figure it out. But whatever doubts remained about my capabilities, I could see those were gone now. No more useless prince looks. No more condescension. They were looking at me like someone who mattered. Qin Fong was the first to say goodbye. Border duties call, 5th prince. We should be going. Yuan followed. I'll head back with the general. I'll arrange the teachers and start planning the trading post immediately. Safe travels. See you again soon. I watched them leave and smiled. This visit was exactly what I needed. Not just for the bet or the trade deal, for publicity. Think about it. Qin Fong is a major border general. Yuan is a guild chairman. When powerful people go somewhere, other powerful people notice. Their subordinates gossip. Their associates speculate. The border fortress officers who attended last night's banquet are already talking. And the rumors that would spread through the civilian grapevine? I could already imagine them. General Qin and Chairman Yu secretly visited the 5th prince's territory. The 5th prince has a mysterious backer and invited VIPs to inspect his domain. Is the exiled prince making a comeback? A rich settlement beyond the border? Each version more exaggerated than the last. And when Daluo officially opens a branch in West Waste Village, that news would explode across the kingdom. Everyone and their grandmother would want to come see the miracle village for themselves. More visitors means more word of mouth. More word of mouth means more merchants. More merchants means more commerce. More commerce means more money. The snowball was starting to roll. Once the guests were out of sight, I found an empty area in the barracks and used all my summoning cards. Ding. 100 sword soldiers, 100 shield soldiers, 100 archers, 100 spear infantry, 100 cavalry, 100 service troops. 600 soldiers materialized in a blinding sea of white light. Greetings, my lord. 600 voices shaking the ground. I sent the 500 combat troops straight to the training field. No time to waste. Low-level soldiers on a battlefield are just casualties waiting to happen. Train first, fight later. Updated stats. Total army, 2,024 soldiers. 2024. Funny, that's the same year I fell off that cliff back on Earth and ended up here. Coincidence? Probably. But it felt like the universe winking at me. 644 sword soldiers. 400 spear infantry. 240 shields. 210 archers. 190 cavalry. 340 service troops. 1 general, Wu Song, now level 11. An elite tier fighter who could solo entire squads. 2 strategists. 563 civilians. Wu Song deserved special mention. The man had been training nonstop for a month and hit level 11. That put him in the elite soldier category, 11 to 15, meaning he could genuinely hold his own against multiple enemies at once. From level 1 rookie to level 11 elite in weeks, the battlefield experience plus daily training was turning him into a monster. Then the system dropped the quest I'd been waiting for. Ding. Main Quest 5. Destroy the Wolf Demon Tribe's Eastern Den. Difficulty, 2 stars. Rewards. Territory expands 2.5x for 1,500 honor, 10,000 silver, 200 cavalry summoning cards. Territory expansion. 2.5 times bigger. 200 more cavalry on top of my existing 190. And massive honor and silver payouts. The wolves had been a thorn in my side since day 1. 3 invasions. Dead villagers. Constant threats. Every time they come, they bring more troops. Every time I drive them off, they go home and plan something bigger. 2,000 soldiers against an estimated 2,000 to 2,500 wolves. The numbers were finally close enough. It's time. The wolf tribe's days are numbered.